I am back in the building. Give me 1 second. Turn off these headphones. What's going on, everybody? In a second here. I forgot to take these headphones out of my ears before I hit live here. What's going on, everybody? Give everybody a second to pull in here. It is a breezy, and I do mean breezy Sunday here in Connecticut. I mean, beautiful Connecticut once again back home. For real, it is kind of chilly out here right now. Hey, if you watch this on the replay and you're like, yo, what's up with this jacket? Whatever, this jacket comes like this. What's going on, Javon? This jacket comes like this. This is from American Eagle. You know what I'm saying? I had this last year, so you know what I mean? I'm gonna wear it this year too. So I wanted to talk about something. Thank you so much, Javon. I appreciate that. I wanted to talk about something real quick that really has bothered me and baffled me, and then I'm gonna get into other things too. But this really bothered me. I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. Could it be, and this is epiphany here, right? Could it be that a lot of these people that you see on the internet nowadays, there's suddenly these industry insiders that want to talk to everybody? Yeah, it's chilly out here, man. These industry insiders, this celebrity this, celebrity bodyguards, and all this. No pun intended to anybody specifically, but yeah, you know what I mean. Is it possible that these guys, the whole time, this was their personality? Like let me give you an example of what I mean here. So we got these guys that are now coming on, and they're coming all over YouTube. You see them on Instagram, you see them on multiple different platforms, right? And they get a little penny off of each of those appearances that they make. So say like they're on such and such a show, right? It might be a possibility such and such dropped them like, I don't know, 5 bands, you know what I'm saying? At the very least $2,000. So now you do that about 4 or 5 times out of the week, you got about 10 or 20 grand before you know it, right? And so it's a business. It's a business. But I always often ask the question of this: if there wasn't a dollar amount involved, right? If there was not a dollar amount involved, would you be so contentious on trying to help everybody, as you say, righteous causes? And the truth must be found. Y'all better watch that word, the truth. I keep telling people this all the time. People that write the truth about something in their title are usually the main ones that's lying. You understand what I'm saying? Because like the truth speaks for itself. You don't have to reiterate it or tell somebody, oh, this is the truth. Da, 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 da. They just want to tell the truth. We're weary of people like that. At one time, these people were mentioned in the Bible. At one time, these people were historically mentioned. It's type of person, bearer of false witness. They've always existed. And so you had these different people that stand on these platforms. Some people that wasn't even around. All right, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. So listen, right? He is Bad Boy family. I'm not gonna take that away from him. Shout out to Freddy P. All right. I'm glad I got this candy because it gives me an option to think. Freddie, from the bottom of my heart, cut it out. Cut it out. Okay? Now, let me tell you something about the history. And many of y'all know I done show pictures on here, the videos this week. I don't have to do no more. I rolled with Bad Boy Entertainment for 17 years. Out of that 17 years that I worked at that company, and there's ironic 17 people in the chat room right now, that's crazy. Out of that 17 years I worked at that company, Freddy P, Babs, Chopper, all of them. I just showed y'all a picture with me and Chopper when I was in Miami. That was after the shows were over. That was after their contract was over. Keep that in mind. I forgot which one it is, but I just did it like 2 days ago. If you guys were here, you saw it. Chopper and all those guys, they were gone within 4 to 5 years. Okay? 4 to 5 years. So Freddy P, I don't care what you say, stop. And you were specifically, you were gone before that. All right? You don't keep that in the dialogue when you have, that's funny. You don't keep that in the dialogue. That's where you be at most of the time, right? You don't add that to the dialogue when you're talking, my boy. You wasn't around. Now, listen, for all you Scooby-Doo, Google masters, and thespians, right now, I want you to go into your Google and I want you to enter in years Freddie P was with Bad Boy Entertainment. Go ahead. I'll wait. And the first person that does it, come back here and tell me in the comment section what you find. And what you're going to find is Freddie P and the rest of those guys, they wasn't around no more. I say the tops, maybe 5-6 years. I was around 17. I was there before they got there. Respectfully. No disrespect to Babs, no disrespect to Chopper, any of those guys. I was there before they got there. And so was the rest of my compadres. They came in, we promoted their album. I worked on promotion of the album. There's nothing you can say. If you don't believe me, ask them who Sean Prez and Malcolm Miles is. Ask them who James Cruz is. They were a part of your promo. Not to mention the Honorable Harv, you know what I'm saying? But they were all part of your promo. So on your first effort and your second effort, we were the promo. So trust me, I know what I'm talking about here. Freddie P wasn't around Bad Boy no more than 6 years tops. And they were different than other artists. Other artists, we were more interactive with, meaning like, if you're talking about G-Dep, Black Rob, you're talking about Sean or whatever, we would go to clubs with them. We would go to performances with them. I showed you guys this the other day online when I threw up pictures and all that stuff. And I'll throw some more in the community section for you, whatever, with Sean, with Black Rob, with Carl Thomas, and many of these other artists as they were coming up in the ranks. This is at the beginning of most of these artists' career. I was there. And so that's why I say this. And so I'm not trying to necessarily discredit anything Freddie P got to say. That's not the whole modus operandi here. What it is it's the problem is, sweetheart, the problem we got here is you're enacting and speaking about a lot of things that you quite, this matter-of-factly didn't have the part of witnessing because you wasn't around long enough. I've heard this man mention things and let's talk about here. We're saying this in a calendar sense, right? Because I was around. So let's say in a calendar sense with Freddie P. Freddie P, some of the things that you're mentioning from 2012, 2013, 2015, even 2017, and sir, you wasn't around. That's just a fact. You wasn't around. Now I can go all the way up to 2016 going into 2017. And I know for a fact you wasn't around, homie. You wasn't around. So you over there whistling that man for that little dollar or whatever that they're giving you. I get it. You need that. I feel you. You know what I'm saying? But you can't be over there telling porky pies about situations where you wasn't even around the company to actually witness them. That's a fraud, my nigga. And that's not what you seemingly are on there representing. You on there telling a lot of matter-of-factness to that man or whatever. And a lot of them you can't hold down a contention, my boy. You understand what I'm saying? You feel me? Like you wasn't around that year. You was going by 2000 way. Y'all was going by 2008, 2009, tops 2010, all of y'all. You don't believe me? Who in here went and Googled how long Freddie P was around Bad Boy Entertainment? See, it's one thing if you believe homeboy and everything he's saying, I get that. But it's another thing if you don't take the time to go Google and identify with what I'm talking about right now. So I'm gonna give y'all another moment. Go check and see the years that Freddie P was around Bad Boy Entertainment. It was a very short span. It wasn't longer than my tenure or any of the brothers that I worked with. We promoted these boys' albums. We did Boys in the Hood. Boys in the Hood, I think it was before y'all. You understand what I'm saying? Like this is so you talking to somebody right now that promoted these boys and this girl's album. I forgot about Sarah and Babs sometimes, but we promoted the album, so I know. And I promoted 5 other albums before you got there. You know what I'm saying? At the very least, I'll say more than that. It was probably like 7. Could anybody tell me the years that Freddie P was with Bad Boy Entertainment? Sign. Somebody help me out. See, that's why I tell you, you got to watch these people be talking about they want the truth. No, they want their version of the truth. because their version of the truth fits their modus operandi, where they can fit a narrative into something and crash down on somebody. Do your due diligence right now if you about the truth like y'all say y'all are, and don't be a hypocrite and go Google what years was Freddy P with Bad Boy Entertainment. And I guess you'll find something very different than what he's speaking. Because you're speaking of incidents that happened way after he was gone. Like, if you're speaking at the very least, let's say 2012, 2013, these guys were gone. Contractually, they were over. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they might have still did performances here and there, whatever, but there was just like length out what they had already previously had, if that makes any sense. So, like, okay, well, we had a couple bookings for like a year, and then like, some of those venues, they want us back again. All right, I get it. Get your money, bro. But you can't be telling Porgy Pies. Please share this live, everybody. Make sure they hear something. How can a man talk about events that happened in 2012, 2013? Well, sir, you was around before the 2000 teens. You was around before the 2000 teens even entered. I'm curious to that. Are we going to allow people to tell Porgy Pies with checks on YouTube nowadays? This is what I always speak of. I think YouTube needs to be regulated. Regulated like a few foreign entities have their YouTube regulation implemented. You didn't know that, huh? In different countries, YouTube acts very differently, and it won't allow certain things, because those countries' governments have worked things out with YouTube to make sure of that, especially like Muslim countries, Hindi countries, countries that are heavily populated with a culture of religious fraction. For example, China frequently cuts off their internet to all. Egypt cut off their internet for a year. I think that's what needs to happen here in the States. I need to cut off the internet for like a year, and everybody will go back to being regular. I guarantee you. Because then they won't have that false sense of voices. Nobody will really give a shit about them anymore. Things will change. But now you got these people that hop online, and that's why I say streets was a myth. Because if all these people are that easy to hop online, let me tell you something. If a motherfucker is that easy to hop online, excuse my French if you don't like cursing, but hey, fuck it. I smoke, I curse, I live in the New York City tri-state is what we do. If a motherfucker is that amped to hop online for a check, right? To talk to a complete stranger about friends of his that he was around for years, right? Friends that he was around for years. And he says, you know what, this is the moment I'm going to jump online and I'm going to talk about this and talk about that, because now I'm upset in 2024. But in 2012 and 2008, when I was trying to get a fucking career, it didn't matter. I had to overlook it. And y'all not questioning that, questions me about how actually intelligent you fuckers are. Because I think there's some of y'all some fucking idiots. And I'm not sitting here saying that some of the things, if not all the things, if not none of the things that they say about my former boss, Diddy, Puff, we know him, are saying if it's true. But I will say this. And guys, if you don't know, my name is Davin Lewis, formerly of Bad Boy Entertainment for over 17 years. Part of the conversation I'm having right now is about people that were formerly in the industry and now, or had circles in the industry, and are now doing tell-alls for the likes of this one, that one, and the other one. And I'm asking the question, well, why did you do something back then? We're also implementing and talking about, but circling around, but not trying to denounce Freddy P and everything else. I just have a question, Freddy P. How do you speak on things that happened in 2012, 2014, when, my boy, you were aptly gone by 2008 at the latest? That does not make sense. That's like saying, yeah, man, I remember that time that James Brown was doing that concert. You wasn't born until 1993. It doesn't make sense. You understand what I'm saying? Tell your stories. Everybody's warranted to tell their story here on YouTube, but just make sure that you're accurate and tell the truth. And how come nobody's looked at 5 minutes and said, okay, well, what years was this guy around? I spoke of, and I've said this many of times, Gene Dill wasn't around when we was around. Gene Dill was there before we was there. Even Gene Dill will tell you that. Well, later on he told y'all that. Bonds and all those guys, that's our era. You understand what I'm saying? Gene Dill was gone. Wolf and all them, that's our era. There were tears to the Bad Boy joint. You know what I mean? Like I say 4 to 5, if I were really correct. I would say we was probably like the 3rd or the 4th. You know what I'm saying? In the regiment of my guys. You know what I'm saying? The guys I came up with. I'm proud of some of y'all too. I seen you. You know what I'm saying? Little BBE, heard? And tú sabes, pana. Proud of some of y'all. Saw Mayor the other day. Know what I mean? We got a nigga on our camp that's a fucking boxing professional now. That's real talk. Shout out to Mayor. Love you, boy. Let me tell you something, man. I got a lot of brothers that they don't even want to get on camera, and I understand why. Some of them, well, a lot of them tune in with me here, and they listen to what I got to say. You know what I'm saying? And they hear some of the Chuck shit to come out too. So I guess got to keep it a buck. I was just having this conversation this morning. I was like, somebody else brought it up, and it was like, yo, why the fuck Freddy P wilding like that? I even hit Dodo. You know what I'm saying? Doe Fat. You know what I mean? And I was asking them. I was like, yo, what's up with your mans? Because you had mentioned Tony. You know what I'm talking about. You had mentioned Doe Fat and some shit too. I was like, yo, this nigga wilding. Don't mention Doe Fat. He coolin'. So I hit him. I'm like, yo, you know what I mean? Da. And I ain't been around him since the pandemic. Last time I was around him was for the joint with Casanova. You know what I'm saying? That was right before the pandemic hit. I think that was like a week before the pandemic hit. It was us, Herb Gotti brother. I forgot what his name is. Herb Gotti brother was in there. I got a picture with all of them. I'll repost that shit up. Well, that was the last time I was around it, but I've got to ask these questions because these questions got to be asked, YouTube. We got guys out here that are taking huge checks for telling stories about a time period when they were around people, you know? And so I asked that question at this point. I'm like, well, how much do these people have been trusted even back then? And if they're still in secular now and they're still moving around everybody now, should you trust these people? Because me personally, you wouldn't ever be able to work around me a fucking again. Let me tell you something. Everybody worked for Trump and then they turned around and tried to snitch on Trump. Trump made sure those people never worked again. You don't believe me? Where Omarosa at? Omarosa's at the top of her game. We ain't seen Omarosa since. She didn't win and married a preacher. She out the game. So my point is, I think some of these guys, they should be out the game too. If you're sitting around, it's not a legality thing. You know what I'm saying? Because you know my motto here. Sometimes it's just good goddamn police work. I say that. I've been saying that for 5 years. Well, because truly it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm around cops all the time when I'm doing my pieces and shit like that. So you know what I'm saying? Cops know me. You know what I mean? And some of them are cool as shit. So shout out to them. But the point is, and I do truly mean that, I've said that right in front of their faces. The point is, it's like, and when I say see your cops, I'm talking about anywhere between 60 to 80 cops at one time I'm around when I'm filming. So, you know what I'm saying? It's a regular routine. I've been doing this for years. So, you know what I'm saying? Those guys, they get to know you and they know your face, they know your name. You know what I'm saying? You build up a repertoire with them or whatever. They know, you know what I mean? You square up. But I got to ask a question this out of morality. Streets is a myth. And now we're getting proven that. And you see these guys that 10, 15 years ago, these guys would have sat around you and they would have said, yo, I'm some audible type stand-up guy or whatever. Now, we're now trying to find out, and we're further finding out, a lot of these guys, for the better, second, better words, were fucking pussies. That's the way I look at it. I think you were a pussy. I think everything that you said that you stood for and everything like that is now being denounced by yourself, you know? And I just think, I don't respect it. You know what I'm saying? Streets don't respect it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people just don't respect it. You know what I'm saying? Like, my nigga, you might as well go down to the first 48. That's how you feel. You know what I'm saying? Get them all set. Get them some cheddar biscuits. You know what I'm saying? Get them a 6-piece. Freddy P should have beat Diddy's ass. Do you really think Freddy P could whoop Puff? You really think that? I want whoever wrote that in the chat room. I want you to like run that back. Do you know how big that man is? Like seriously, he's not a small dude. You know, I think a lot of people, they think that or whatever. Puff worked out all the time. Most of the guys that are around us, we all work out. So that's how we stay, you know, in the regimen that we are. And I say probably for that 17 years that I worked at that company, I can honestly and truthfully say, you guys, you've seen pictures I put up, video I put up, or whatever. I did that again this week for all my new subscribers. But I will tell you honestly and truthfully, nah, that wasn't gonna happen. That wasn't gonna happen. That wasn't gonna happen. I mean, that shit sounds good online, dog. Remember, this is the same man that smacked Drake, and Drake worked out every week. Drake was in peak form when Puff smacked him. Puff's not a little man. I don't know why y'all think he was some little itty bitty dude. He's not. I think what y'all think is, y'all think like let's run it back, right? Then it bagged up Lil Durk. Then you know what I'm saying? They did dirty. You know what I'm saying? King Vaughn. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these people that y'all think like that's why I said maybe it's time for y'all to start thinking a little different. A lot of you people y'all think is pretty versus a lot of people y'all think is street has changed over the years. See what I'm saying? It's changed. I've always looked the same way I've looked, and people that know me know that I ran with some of the realest gangsters in the tri-state. That's a fact. I can look you in that camera and say that. Ain't nobody do the shit we was doing. I'm talking about this before I got with Bad Boy. I was really a gangster. That's why I could say that shit. And I rode with Latinos and Italians. So my shit is a little bit different. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these guys that come in and they yo, you know me, okay? You're not organized though, you know? We were organized. So my thing is this. When I see a guy like this, or a guy like Freddy P, and I'm not taking a dump on Freddy P. I'm just merely saying this, yo, Freddy P, you wasn't around a lot of those years that you claiming stuff on that man's show, and I think that many people need to start questioning you of that. You notice that nobody came in to confirm or deny what I said earlier. I said the only thing you have to do is go Google right now and tell me the years that Freddy P was at Bad Boy Entertainment. Now shut up. Because it's self-explanatory. Freddie P, in the years that he's mentioning on this man's podcast, he wasn't around those years. That's just the God honest truth. You know, there's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. We don't have to run it back. We don't have to second guess it. This is what it is. So I encourage everybody that's in my live right now, guys, make sure y'all hit that like button. I want you guys to go look for yourself. Just go to Google. Google is your friend. And I want you to enter in years that Freddie P was with Bad Boy Entertainment. And if it peaks 2010, I'll stop the live. If it peaks past 2010, you have my word, I'll stop the live. I'll start the whole live. But you're going to find out it doesn't. And that's the problem I have. Sir, you're on that man's show talking about episodes of things that happened in 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. I was around. Sir, you was not around. You was not around. So anything that you're speaking on that man's show, you're regurgitating gossip, or you're regurgitating things that you wasn't privy or witness to with your own two eyes. And I find that dishonest, sir. Not for all that for a check, for a couple of dollars. I've had people offer me $5,000 as of lately, again, second time, to come on their show and talk about my ex-boss like a dog, and give them all kinds of info and things like that, or whatever. And I'm like, really? 5 G's. I can use that 5 G's. If you're a rapper or somebody in the game, drop me 5 G's for not doing that shit. Because you know what? I find that dishonorable. There's no way I'm going to sit around people that I don't give a fuck if I didn't like them no more. There's no way. Listen to everybody, and this is talking about having some integrity here, right? I have lives on here. I think when I finished the one down at the courthouse there for Puff's third arraignment, I had 232,000 people all together that had watched that live by the time I ended it. The live wasn't nothing but for an hour and 30 minutes. And everybody tuned in because they wanted to see this man's demise. That seems to be a high stake nowadays on YouTube and other social platforms. We want to see everybody's demise. You know, if you're rich, we want to see his demise. If you're successful, I want to see his demise. It's like the town square with pitchforks and torches. You know what I mean? And so I say this to you. If you're not going to pay attention to the stuff that I'm saying right here, you're not going to do your due diligence to go and look up what I'm saying here and confirm for yourself, hey, this guy really wasn't around during those years. So how the hell would he know these things if he wasn't around? It's impossible. You understand? This is where we walk this thin line between conspiracy theories and, and all this amok that we do here on YouTube and several other apps. And it's getting kind of like, like corny. Like, you hear some guy wrote in, Freddy P should have beat P. Diddy head. Freddy P would have got swole the fuck up in that office that day. That's what would have happened. The moment that Freddy P would have laid a hand on Puff, Freddy P would have got swole the fuck up. And that's just the God honest truth. That's just the God honest truth. If you believe in Gene Deal, just remember there were guys his size around Puff 24 hours a day. 24 hours a day. Until recently, that was one of the few times I saw him when he was walking in New York prior. That was one of the first times that I saw him walking solo by himself without security, all throughout freeform, out throughout the city. So that's what would have happened to Freddy P. So anybody, and the other thing that I have a problem with is how so many people want to encourage street violence, but you've never been in the street. See, real guys have been in the street, they don't want to do stuff like that. It sounds silly to me. It sounds childish. But guys that never had anything in that, and in other words, what we call them 10, 15 years ago, we would have called them nerds. There's a lot of nerds online nowadays that want to try to act like they're cool. You're not cool. You're a nerd. You always were a nerd. And you just haven't been tested in the physical essence. See, let's see if you could take a punch in the mouth. See, that's a man. You want me to tell you why that's a man? If you can't take a punch in the mouth, how the fuck are you going to defend your woman? See, that's when we get into the nitty-gritty of it. If you can't take a fucking punch in your mouth, how the fuck are you going to defend your chick if something happens? See what I'm saying here? So most of these guys that you get online nowadays, they ain't never been in nothing. They ain't never done nothing. They ain't never been in a fist fight, and they ain't going to do shit if guys like me or other guys show up. You understand what I'm saying here? So my point, I think I've proven that enough fucking times on here. So my point is this. We need to stop this whole wannabe gangster shit. You understand? Because there's some real gangsters that's watching. Now, I'm not denouncing anybody saying nobody won't do nothing or it can't nothing happen, because that just ain't the truth. You understand what I'm saying? They even got Pablo Escobar. But my point is this. Why the fuck are you guys lowering yourself? Listen, this is a fucking moment, fellas. Do you understand what and ladies? This is a moment. This is a moment. This moment might last a year, might last 2 years, but reputation is forever. And the reputation I know you for now is, this is one of them, let's just say, he might fold under questioning. I ain't ready to denounce all that shit. I don't like it. I don't like these guys that's sitting around talking to all these guys. Make sure you share this live and get it out to people, whatever, because we need to have these talks. Guys are sitting around like a bunch of chicks with pink rollers in your hair and a hair dryer. Oh, girl, let me talk to you about this too. Oh, girl, I remember in 2000, this is men. Men. Sitting online, like you close your eyes and this is what you hear. Oh, girl, let me tell you about this other thing that happened. Oh, girl. Like, what the fuck is it? This was a guy that was around us for all those years? And now you're talking to these people? Oh, wow. And you're throwing marinara and pizza sauce everywhere. The whole kitchen's messed up. And none of these guys, they do it solely for themselves. I keep telling y'all that. Y'all don't believe me. There's nothing that they have to offer after this is over. There are going to be thousands of jobs lost because of Puff's disappearance and leaving out of the game, if that's what ultimately happens. Thousands of jobs. Do you think these tell-all motherfuckers that are on here, you think any of them going to offer a job for those 1,000 people? Of course not. They don't have anything. What are they going to have? What do they have to offer? So they attribute it to the newfound joblessness rate within the culture and don't have nothing to offer in return. See, it'd be different if you was trying to tear down the music industry and you had something to offer in return, but you don't even have anything to offer in return as far as employment. So what use are you? Whistleblower, conspiracy theorist. You just put thousands of black people out of jobs, you idiot, and don't have nothing to offer. What are you gonna do? Have them hawk jewelry on your little fucking YouTube page? Huh? All these entrepreneurs that are out here that can't hire no fucking body. Get the fuck out of here. I got guys that I know right now that know my face and know who I am and won't even take up for me and say, yo, I know, son. There was one person that came in here the other night. I think it was the night that I did the live in front of Daddy's house recording studio. And son said, yo, I do remember, son. You know what I mean? But like, all this, and that's another thing too. Niggas is quiet right now. Niggas is real quiet. Like, I will agree with the conspiracy theorists and the other vloggers on that one. It sure is quiet right now. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to say anything. Nobody wants to defend nobody. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all cater to white parties, don't want to say nothing. Freddy P was at a white party. How come he don't talk to you about that? How come he don't talk to you about that? See what I'm saying? They just want to get online and talk about everybody except for them. This shit is crazy. So to everybody that still live by the same credo, these guys are gone. They're now whack jobs. They're useless. And treat them as such. Don't allow them to work in different situations anymore. Don't allow them to be part of a situation that's greater than them anymore. Don't allow them to be around in our circumference anymore. Don't allow them to be at parties. When they show up at a party or an event or whatever, kick them out immediately. And be aware that whatever is said at that party or whatever is said at that event is going to be shared here online with whatever such and such vlogger. So as long as you're aware of that, I think that's more the point here. A lot of these vloggers, this is how they get down. This is how they circulate money. This is how they get views. Trust me, I'm monetized here with YouTube with the rest of them. The more views they can get for salacious material, the more better off they are financially. A lot of these women, they don't care anything about these girls. They're simply using these girls as fuel for YouTube checks. I keep trying to tell y'all that y'all won't listen to me, and sooner or later you're going to find out. If a woman is talking about sexual abuse or sexual assault and things like that, and she doesn't have a link in her bio for women to call a 1-800 number if they're getting assaulted, they don't have anything for victims of domestic violence, and they don't have any of that type of information in their bio as they're telling these stories, you could best believe they don't care about women as a whole in that situation. I keep telling y'all that. We got this one little gal, I like to call her a little gal, la mujer latina, no? It tries to talk like Chrissy Love from the 1970s or Pam Grier. Ooh, child! Anytime you hear somebody like that and they highlight, watch them. Trust me when I tell you. Because my thoughts is, this is actually, hey, TT, this is a Latina. And what people are telling me, she's Costa Rican. You know what I'm saying? That's what people are telling me. She's not, and people get on me because they be like, well, how old are you to talk? You have Cuban and I'm like, all right, but I tell y'all, that's the point. And I've come under, what do you call it? Under attack for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming under attack for speaking Spanish here on channel. You know what I'm saying? Why I'm in, you know what I'm saying? Why I'm in Harlem. That shit is funny to me. But y'all won't get on old TT, aka Chrissy Love, for the way she talk. She like mixes her voice. Like she sounds like one point, she sounds like Chrissy Love or Foxy Brown from the 70s, and then she tries to mix in this other jargon. It's like, I don't know, like Hidden Valley, Waterby or whatever. Let me tell you something. I've lived here in Connecticut my whole entire adult life, completely. And I'm trying to tell you, Candace Owens is literally, I took other where Candace Owens grew up at here in Connecticut. And I can tell you for a fact, we have many black women that talk articulate here. Yale University is here. Quinnipiac University is here, and many others. And it differs depending on what locale you're at. I lived more on the shoreline for a lot of years, so the vernacular is very articulate. Here where I live at now, the vernacular is very articulate. I lived between both of them all my life, so I'm trying to tell you, when you get these girls that like over enunciate words, or you know, they go out of their way to try to sound like, you know, I grew up with the kings and the queens. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, we smell that shit from a mile away. I literally spent all my life here in Connecticut. I know when I hear that brown nose shit when I hear it. And so, and I ain't saying that just like that, but I tell y'all all the time, I grew up around mostly Italians and Greeks. So I don't know that fake shit. I don't know how to sit here and be like, you know what I mean? I don't know how to do it. And so, or people, overly like being animated on camera and shit for a couple of views. I don't know how to do that. I don't want to know how to do that. I'm not going to tap dance and shoe shine for a couple of views. But the people that are, y'all are starting to become a problem. Not a problem to who you're talking about per se, because it's all hearsay, but you're trying to start to become a problem to yourself. So like TT, for example, and she's always on the Diddy. You would think this broad worked with us for like 20 years. Diddy. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, she's annoying to listen to. And then, like, it's the whole, Pam Grier, Foxy Brown jargon that follows behind it. She's actually making fun of black people, if y'all don't pick it up. She's at anybody that talk. Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell y'all once again, because I'll put the slow ones in the back. If you get a black person, or you get a light-skinned black person, or any of the fact, and I'm telling you this, and they overly use jargon that's from the old days, or they overly use ebonics from the old days, trust me when I tell you, they're not in the game talking to you because they care about you. They're in the game talking to you because they want something out of you. And most likely it's a view, most likely it's a cash app, most likely it's something else. So, you can keep forward with that type of thinking into 2025, it will serve you no use. The YouTube game is about to switch up in 2025, ladies and gentlemen, and all this previous jargon, or what you want to call the T sector, is on its way to fuck up on out of here. And the way I know this is because how I persistently watch as things have changed here. I'm not going to be in the description on what those changes are, because quite frankly, you can go look it up your fucking self. But still, behold this. That old T sector and gossiping about people and talking about people, it's going to have some legality to it pretty soon. And there's going to become a point where you can't get on this app and do that type of interaction anymore because of the legality that's going to follow behind it. A lot of the stuff that's happening right now, and I'm saying this for somebody that's around, as you guys see, around real media. I've worked around everybody from people from Fox, CNN, People Magazine, you name it. I've been around all of them. I've had them here on my camera before, Associated Press, all of them. This last one we did here with the arraignment for Diddy, I had freaking Lisa Evers from Fox News on there. She was giving me info. So, you know what I mean? Like, take no mistake about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the press areas. This is what I do. I'm somebody who's covered Jonathan Major's case. I covered all 2 weeks of it. I covered Trump's, both of his arraignments. And now I've covered all 3 of Diddy's arraignments. So I'm somebody that's, you know what I mean, in the flow of things, or whatever, if you want to say. For people that aren't, and you don't live in the New York City, the immediate New York City tri-state area, I find it kind of peculiar that you hop online and you talk about our business up here, and you live in, Wisconsin or Idaho or something like that. It's kind of weird. I mean, what y'all got going out there? Where they have the next potato festival or something like, I don't know. spring water festival or something, I don't know. Quite frankly, who gives a shit? My point is, you don't live here in the New York City tri-state. You're not available to go to any of these things that we're talking about here like I am. And you guys want to sit around with the conspiracy theorists. You want to sit around with people that are pointing out dates that it's impossible for them to be around. If you were going contractually in 2008, at the latest 2010, how do you talk about events and sit-downs with people when they pay you $2,000 to $5,000 about events that happened in 2012, 2014, 2016? It's fucking ridiculous. And these people eat this up because they don't want the real information. What they in fact want is they want some gossip. Ask your grandmother right now. Go into the kitchen, ask your grandmother. Ask your grandfather, he might even remember. Ask him if he remembers going into the hair salons and there was women in there with pink rollers, sitting on the hair dryer, gossiping about everybody. But at least they would end it off at, I ain't the one to gossip, so you ain't heard that from me. They at least had some integrity behind the gossiping. I've heard all kinds of shit about Puff this week. Some of it might be true. Shit, I ain't gonna be no dummy either. But like I said, my homie said this, I'm gonna keep it a buck. He said, sometimes real niggas They getting involved in shit that ain't real nigga shit. Got a point. You know what I'm saying? And I was coming from a real ass nigga. So, I mean, he got a point. You know what I'm saying? Somebody told me that in person. He said, y'all don't hold nothing against you. You know what I'm saying? But like, I get you in a weird. Let me tell you something. When I've covered all three of his arraignments now, and it was weird to be down there in person. It was weird for me with the Jonathan Majors thing too. That was personal with me, but it was weird being down there for all three of Puff's arraignments and like being like, damn, I used to work around this man. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, especially for the people that are on here and they've been following me for 5+ years, whatever, see my little journey. You know what I mean? From musician to regurgitate musician, you know what I'm saying? I can honestly truly say that shit was heartfelt, bro. It really was. I was like, damn, this shit is surreal right now. Like, I'm up here watching my ex-boss fight for his freedom. You know what I mean? Like, it was crazy to me. And some people, they don't care. You know what I'm saying? Some people are like, well, I made my money. I'm all right. You know, I get y'all. Y'all ain't really never care about nobody anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, there's a whole bunch of niggas out here that could drop me $1,000 real quick. Like, y'all niggas, so, like, this is the thing for me. I got to keep it a buck. Niggas saw me go through hell during the pandemic, right? And I ain't asking nobody for none of this shit like that. But this is real. Niggas saw me go through hell during the pandemic trying to bounce back, right? Show me all my situations or whatever. I couldn't even get a nigga to be like, yo, here go $2,000, my nigga. I know you're trying to get on your feet. She even came out. Like, to this day, I'm still trying to get back on my feet from that pandemic shit. I lie to you not. And I fucked up many times on here when I had money saved and I spent that shit on going to this, going to that. I did the whole 2 weeks of Jonathan Majors trial thinking my subscribers would back me up, right? You know, regurgitate some of the money like they do for every other blogger. That wasn't the case. Niggas like, well, why should we donate to you? That's the questions that would be asked. I'd be like, damn, that's how you feel? So I stopped doing it. I was like, yeah, it's whatever. It's whatever. A lie and sensationalism go very far here on YouTube as far as the urban community is concerned for their dollar. That much I've learned in the past 5 years. At one time, well, 3 or 4 times, I've had sensationalists attached material, sensationalist attached material that I was involved in. One time was with an artist named Jaguar Wright. And me and her subsequently, I wouldn't even call it beef, you know what I'm saying? We was just doing Northeast shit as far as I'm concerned, but it was like, it turned into a thing and hey, what's going on? And it turned into a thing or whatever when other vloggers were getting involved or whatever, but they wouldn't give a fuck about me and Jaguar. They were worried about the smoke that was with it. And I caught it quick. I was like, oh, you ain't worried about, because like a real nigga would have came out and been like especially a man would have been like, nah, y'all squash that shit, let that shit go. They wouldn't have kept the shit going on. You see what I'm saying? So after I had because I always have conversations with people, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we ain't doing that today, homie. I don't even respect you. But these vloggers, they'll keep shit going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I even had some of these weird ass vloggers. Like, y'all gotta understand the anatomy of these niggas. They're real lowbrow. Like, I had this one nigga, like, this nigga was literally following after me. You know what I'm saying? I had another nigga that did a whole podcast about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had some real, I had 4 of them do real podcasts about me. So, you know, you gotta, and I ain't gotta mention no names or whatever. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I don't even care at this point, because you gotta look at it like this. If a group of followers of whatever said vlogger automatically believe that vlogger just because that vlogger said what he said, and they're nowhere in the spaces that I'm at, they're nowhere but in their bedrooms or their kitchens, then it's already said. And I think that's what's happening right now. You got a lot of African Americans and Latinos and whites that are under a spell via this YouTube thing. That's why I'm adamantly in advocacy of maybe we need to do the same thing that China, Egypt, and a couple other countries do. And let's try an experiment. Listen, you can even lie to the public. Listen, I deal with real media all the time. Like I said, I'm around real media all the time. I film around them. Let's duplicate what Egypt and China and a couple other countries done. This is an experiment. You can tell them, hey, it's down for a year. Let's cut off the fucking internet to the populace for a year. You know what will happen? You will not have nothing but any other choice but to go back to, quote unquote, they say the way things were, where people were interpersonal and they connected and talked to each other and shit like that. I guarantee you that will happen. And you know why it'll happen? Because you won't have any other fucking choice. You won't have any other choice. This theoretically, since we always do these conspiracy theories, if the internet was cut off for a year. Now, what I see is you don't see disobedience with China and their citizens to the high extent like that, except for a couple protests here and there. You don't see a high extent of discourse for Egyptian citizens, but you see them heavily for British and American and Canadian citizens. It's weird. Was the rumors about Diddy going around during the time you worked with him? And if so, what percent would you say believe what's being said, if any at all, just from your real experience with him? I can answer that for you. I think very little. You know, like a lot of these rumors come out of competition with different artists. Let me give you an example. When I was around, and we're talking 2000, 2001, and I all the way up subsequently to 2016 going to 2017. When I was around, there was Rockefeller, DMX and his crew of Rough Riders. You had Ja Rule, Murder Inc. and all them. You had who else was our competition? Definitely what's these niggas' name? Violator. They were our competition. And a few others. But those were the main ones. Out of all those crews, there was a lot of animosity, and people would make up stories about people. People would sell rumors because it was dissing them. What happened was you had the gossip communities. They would pick up these stories and they would roll with them. And what would happen is they would keep telling the same, a lie unchallenged is the truth to some people. So they would keep telling these rumors and things like that over and over and over and over and over again. And finally they stuck in some cases, especially if you've been telling it for like 10 or 15 years, you know what I mean? And so subsequently, a lot of those stories that were back from them days, and I think a lot of people that were around in them days that will agree, a lot of those stories now hold as truth to a lot of people because they've heard them so many times. And so what I think has happened is, like, I give you an example. And I'm speaking of it respectfully. With Jaguar Wright, she brought up a story about Patti LaBelle, and I was the first one to denounce it. And other people picked up on it, never gave me my credit for it. They heard my shit, went and did their own due diligence, and then they added on. But I was the first one that said it. And if you don't believe me, go ask the official King Payne. He'll tell you his goddamn self. You know what I'm saying? I think he'll at least give me that. Well, I was one of the first people that said that. I said, that story is an old story. And the story actually was like from 83 or something. It was way back there. And it was with, I think it was either the Four Tops or the Temptations or whatever. And it was one of the lead singers that supposedly did something to Patti LaBelle, whatever, which later on everybody found out was never proven. This man was never brought under any judiciary proceedings or anything like that or whatever. So it was a fallacy. And she stuck with that story until it started to break apart. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And then she moved on to other things. But that's how quick you can get something messed up. Now, it actually wasn't him that actually did something real bad. I'm gonna tell y'all who it really was. It was Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke, who wasn't a Temptation or the other one. He was the one that was implemented that. If you don't believe me, go look for yourself right now. That's what I do. I don't go up here and be like, yo, take my word for it. No, go look for yourself. It's very easy to find. People are involved in sensationalism. They're not involved in actually having journalistic integrity. And that's why I said this is the difference between these YouTubers and people like me that actually be around real media, film around real media, have real media friends, etc., etc., etc. There's a very big discourse. Now, they're dishonest too, don't get me wrong, in the edit room. But not like these YouTubers. I done seen so many people run around. Listen to me very carefully, kids. If you see somebody with the title, The Truth About, just know you about to be fed a whole bunch of BS. I heard somebody say in one of their podcasts, Diddy is about to meet his demise. Crazy. Yeah. I'm not your bro. Y'all pardon me for that. You always get one of them goofies in here. I don't be worried about listen, man. If you a man over 24 years old, I say this all the time. You shouldn't be in here with keys and he's. It's a war going on out here, boys. And y'all sitting up here he like the girls. You know what I'm saying? With braids in your hair, wearing barrettes. Wake up, boys. Real men don't talk about what other men got going on. Certain type of man does that though. So I hope that answered your question, my friend. But I ain't never see I was the first one that said that. I said I ain't never seen no funny shit. Like, y'all got to keep it content. We went everywhere with these guys. I mean everywhere. We went to the venues with them. We were on stage with folks. We stayed at the same hotels or even in the vicinity of the hotels. We were with them during the daytime. We were with them during the nighttime. Like we hung out with them. Don't forget what he said, no disrespect. Don't forget the dresses and nails painted. Yeah, right. It's a lot of funny stuff that goes on here on YouTube when it comes to the guys on here that I've been picking up on in the past 2 or 3 years, where you got a lot of men that are on here that are very he, but they're always talking about, yo, we waiting for war. We at war. But they don't want to go to war with nobody except for people that look just like them. I call that being a sucker. You understand what I'm saying? God bless. I call that being a sucker. If you don't want to beef with nobody but your own, you're a sucker. If you ride past, like I get this thing where I get a lot of people, they'll try to figure out what the hell I am. Physically, they don't know what I am or some shit like that. I don't know. I only get it with like black Americans or white Americans. It's weird. But a lot of times I'll get black Americans, they'll literally roll past me or walk past me and look at me straight in my face as if I'm supposed to be intimidated by them or they're in control. And I'm like, yo, quite frankly, you're going to fuck around with me. You're not going to have a future. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to have a future fucking around with me. I'm trying to tell you, I sue motherfuckers. I do all kinds of goofy shit. Like, I'm just as stupid as you think you are. You know what I mean? In real time. So I won't even say it be our own, because like I've learned, like, listen, let me tell you something, right? Don't nobody on here, I'm dead serious, don't nobody on here that is of color, except for maybe 4 or 5 people, donate to me or really hit the like button or support me or whatever. They will go to these people's channels, and this is what I mean by our own people, whatever. They will go to these other people's channels and listen to these people literally say whatever about whoever, and I'm all with, like, if you got something genuine to say or whatever, I'm all with it. But like, if you got something to say that's bathed in this like salacious material and lies, and you're receiving a check for it or whatever, and the people are donating to you and supporting you, it goes to say without question, okay, so what do the people support? That's where I'm at with it. And I think what they support is a bunch of debauchery. I think they support a whole bunch of BS. This whatever tings their stomach at the moment. If you're not delivering that type of material, you're not going to make a lot of money. And that's why I tell a lot of as far as the donations are concerned. So that's why I tell people in a new period now here on YouTube, what I think you should do is do what I did. Monetize your channel with AdSense. Don't worry about them donations and all that shit. Because at the end of the day, and this is from somebody been doing this for 5 years, at the end of the day, if you're dependent on the people, the people that donate to you, they want to make you dependent on preaching their type of message. That's what I've learned. And so, like, I've had people that, I donated $50 to you, you can't carry on my message? No, fuck you. You want your money back? And y'all seen me do that a million times. I'll send a motherfucker their money back and be like, yo, fuck you, fuck your ideas, fuck your life, fuck your family, fuck everybody living in your house. And you gotta be like that, because if you don't, you'll end up being slaves for their narratives. That's my point. I'm just having a hard time believing everything said about him, because the people like you who were actually there isn't saying this stuff happen around them all the time. I was one of the first people that said that, what is it, Breathe Warrior? I was one of the first people that said it. Like, literally, I said, yo, I did not see that type of shit going on. God Right said facts. I was one of the first people on here. I worked at that company for 17 years, and I never saw nothing like that. And like I said, I'll emphasize again, we're talking about 17 years. I put up pictures up here. This other day, I went through my picture. I had my second device, my tablet, so it's quite large, so you can see the pictures. Let's go back to like 2 lives ago, I think. And it was funny because I had people like sitting there, they wasn't saying a word, but every now and then they would always have something to say or whatever. I'm like, yo, we went to hotels with these guys. We stayed at everywhere, Miami, wherever, you know, wherever we went to 10 times, 15 times over. You visit a lot of places over 17 years, and I never saw anything like that. And I can adamantly look in your face to say that. So from working with them and going through 3 distributors, I mean, we were at BMG first, which is Bertelsmann Music Group. They're a German conglomerate. We went from BMG to Arista, then we went from Arista, and then the last years I was there, we was at Interscope as our distributor. This is when they had physical entities like CDs and stuff like that. And so from 2000 up until going into 2016, I was at the company, and that's why I could validate and I could say, hey, I didn't see Freddy P around. You get what I'm saying? I didn't see Freddy P around. So I don't know where Freddy P gets this idea that he can talk about stories that happened in 2012, 14, even 15 and 16. If you just laterally look at the stories which are being mentioned, and then you look at the dates, you'll see they don't correlate together. If you were going to 2008, 2009, sir, how are you talking about situations that happened in 2012, 2013? That's delusional. And people are just sucking it up because they're more invested in hearing the jargon than they are the truth. And that's my point. They're trying to bury him. He went against an army without any soldiers. That's what it would appear, man. I mean, a lot of people ask me, why am I saying something? And like, some people will say, oh, well, he's only saying that because he's out there in Connecticut and it's soft where he live at. Nah, it had nothing to do with that. I always lived in Connecticut. Even when I was working at the company, I graduated from Connecticut. I've always been here. So, you know, it's like, it ain't got nothing to do with. I heard somebody mention that in the chat room one day, and it was like, oh, he just saying that because he ain't. I'm in New York all the time. What are you talking about? Where do you think they had the trials at? You think they had Jonathan Major's trial in Connecticut? Do you think they had Trump's 2 hearings in Connecticut? I mean, his 2 arraignments in Connecticut. Did you think they had these 3 arraignments for Puff in Connecticut? No, they didn't. They had them in New York. So, you know what I'm saying? It's all here on the page. So, you know, that's self-explanatory, but many times you'll have these people, they're new subscribers or they're people that don't keep up with you, and they'll come onto your page and they'll be in this live, and then they'll, you know what I'm saying? This is my thing, and I said it earlier about Freddy P. I'm glad you just said that. Freddy getting a check, man. You know, I mean, to be quite honest with you, I know somebody else that dude reached out to. I don't never hide it. I'm not gonna hide it. You know what I'm saying? When I saw Depp over there, first thing I was on the ringer. You know what I'm saying? I was like, no, don't fuck with that shit over there. That's the snitch network over there. He could try to pry you for some information. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to his platform and nothing like that, but that's how it is. Y'all talk about Vlad. I think that dude, hold on one second, y'all. I think that dude is just as bad as Vlad. You know what I'm saying? If y'all wanna put in comparisons, if that's what y'all saying. Y'all give me a second. I'm just plugging up my phone real quick, so my phone don't go dead while I'm talking to y'all. And I ain't gotta say Duke's name, you know what I mean? I don't like his form of journalism. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you want to call it. It's very TMZ-ish, you know what I mean? And Harvey, what's going on, baby? New York's finest right there. Brooklyn's finest, if you want to say. Harvey Levin. Oh, Brooklyn boy, huh? Old People's Court commentary turned good. I ain't mad at Harvey. I don't like a lot of Harvey's journalistic instincts. Let's say this. I think Harvey got a lot of snitches. That much is for sure. Y'all just give me a second plugging up my phone so my phone will go dead. There we go. So I can keep talking to y'all. Ugh. If you're a vlogger, let me show y'all something. If you're a vlogger, make sure you get you one of these. This one right here, this is 20 mAh. Let me turn it around. This is 20 mAh. So I make sure to keep my phone charged. So you know what I mean? Something strange about Freddy P. Yeah, there's a lot of things strange about Freddy P. That's why I was speaking on it. I don't wish no harm to Freddy P. I don't want anything bad to happen to Freddy P. But I think Freddy P is full of bullshit. That's my point. You wasn't around, kid, in 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. That picture y'all saw with me that I put up the other day with me and Chopper when we was down there in Miami. That picture was taken, I think, in 2012, 13, something like that. So they had been going for like 3 or 4 years. Babs, him, Chopper even more so. If y'all remember the second season, Chopper walked off. And then he begged to come back. Y'all remember that? See, y'all don't know nothing about making a band. Freddie P had left. He got sent home. He said, I'm out of here. People don't remember that. I remember that. So he got sent. Listen, this is how deep it go. Our office was right across the street from MTV, like literally across the street. I danced on Direct Effects for 2 seasons. Shout out to Mr. Clayton from right here in New Haven, Connecticut. Well, not right here where I'm at, New Haven, Connecticut, but in the state here, New Haven, Connecticut. And he can tell you this himself. You know what I'm saying? Burnham and Murray. You know what I'm saying? They were co-producers on the show or whatever. I don't know if you can still see the archives or whatever. They had them at one time here on YouTube. But I danced shit. DMX, Eve, Lil Kim, Ja Rule. Like I was a dancer. And so it was crazy to me because, how can I say it? Their show wasn't taped across the street, but they would have, MTV would have this thing called TRL Live, and they would be in the window and shit like that. I ain't gonna say nothing about Chopper, man. If anything, I wish I could sit with Chopper because he's talented. Him, if you really want to be real about it, him, Babs, I forgot what's Enes from Philly, and Sarah. Always mention Sarah. They were the nicest. Freddie wasn't even that nice. I mean, y'all ever heard Freddy P rap? Y'all ever heard Freddy P rap? I ain't trying to be funny, but he had this garble voice. He was kind of sounding like Mystical in a way. Y'all remember Mystical? Mama there, P there, everybody there. He kind of sounded like that. That's what he sounded like to me. He sounded like Mystical. Anybody remember that era? They remember that. Yeah, it's something weird about it. And then the scarves on his head and all. I'm like, what's going on with that boy? And he real mad. I'm like, why are you so mad for? I almost want to send Plies or Baby Blue over there and talk to him real quick. Say, go see what's wrong with that boy. That's why I said I ain't on here firing on him. Even though I know he gonna be, who the nigga in the water? Nigga, stop. Stop. You still family, nigga. Stop. You see what I'm saying? Stop. You on that man's show talking about years that you wasn't around, my boy. And that's an issue. But go ahead and run him for his quarters. I ain't mad at you. Go ahead and run him for his money. Sure ought. I ain't mad at you. Still game, you heard? A nigga, stop doing that shit. He sounded like Mystical. Freddie was the hardest to you? Nah, not me. I like Chopper better. I thought Chopper was dope. I think Chopper just need the right type of beats. Chopper always wanted to stick with this kind of like Magnolia sound or whatever, because he was trying to duplicate what. See, them boys, when they came out, who was hot back then was P. They were influenced by Master P. They were influenced by Baby and all them. Y'all got to understand the regions of where they come from. P is from the South. The other one, I mean, basically, you call that the South too, Midwest, South, whatever you want to call it. And so, like, they were influenced by those artists. You get what I'm saying? So there's nothing wrong with that at all. Actually, they're paying homage just based on their styles. The problem was, it was the tone. How can I say? It was the tone and the octave of the delivery that really messed me up. Because like the beats they were getting kind of like New York beats from New York. How can I say? They were getting it from New York beat makers, and they were trying to have a Southern style. And many of these people outside of traveling or the holiday, they never went down south like that. Now they all want to live in Florida, but before that, or California. But before that, nah. God said he couldn't get a job because making the band. Your time was up. That he left on his own. Why don't he tell y'all that? Like literally, Chopper left on his. I mean, excuse me, I keep saying Chopper because we was in the conversation. Freddie P left on his own. It's on tape. Sean, come on, P. Like when you get on that dude's show again, let them know there was that season you left on your own. I think it was like the second season. They did 3 seasons of the show. So I think it was the 3rd season, maybe the 2nd season. He left and then asked to come back. It's the truth. He was always fighting with people and shit. I think him and Chopper got into it one time. It was a very messy show. Yeah, it was. So, you know, I ain't got nothing against Freddy P. I just like, yo, homie, stop talking about situations where you wasn't around. That's the only problem I got, and I think a lot of other people got that problem too. The guy wasn't active with us. He wasn't around anymore. Contractually, he was done in like 2010 tops. That's tops. And I really want to say 2009 because their contracts went season to season. So first season, and it was a dual contract. So it was between MTV, it might be 3 tiers. But I know it was MTV, Diddy, and then I think there was a 3rd tier production group or something like that may have had like a small percentage, maybe like, you know what I mean? But it was 3 tiers max, you know what I'm saying? And then the parent, so that would make it 4, because the parent at that time would have been Arista, all right? Because they were a distributor. But even with that, they made an adequate enough money off their show. So my point was this, it was like, yo, dog, what did you do with your money? I'm gonna tell you. Young Buck, y'all remember Young Buck? 50 Cent has his tale of him. Shout out to 50. 50 used to own a house out here in Connecticut. 50 has his tale about, and so did Tony Yayo, about how this nigga used to take like rentals and drive all the way back to wherever he was from in Alabama. You know what I'm saying? And then stay there with the rentals for like 6 to 7 months, and they're incurring interest, they're missing, you know, blah, 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 blah. So then when he returned the rental, you're owing like $50,000, $100,000. You could have went and bought the goddamn car. Old Mike Tyson's house, that's right. I'm not sure how much they were getting at per episode, but they were getting more than $200 an episode. I mean, the medium now I think is like $1,000, $2,000 right now. At the beginning of that type of medium, I mean, it's close to say they were getting less than that, but I mean, excuse me, a little bit more than that, but I wouldn't say too much more, maybe 500 to 1,000. Yeah, man. I'm trying to tell you, like, Freddie doesn't understand, like, and this is the other thing too, he's over there appearing with dude, and dude ain't even asking him, like you just mentioned earlier, you said Chopper got some new music out. Regardless of what you think of it or whatever the case may be, how can we not ask Freddy P, yo, where your new music at? You got a hurdle, like you can launch off that. You doing all these sit-down interviews, you're getting these little checks or whatever, and I got a question, where's the new music? You on like your 20th interview right now, Brody, and there ain't no new music dropping. Is that a question? Like, chat room, ask me, y'all want to hear some new Freddy P music? I mean, it don't matter either way to me, but I'm just asking, do y'all want to hear it? Freddie ain't no rapper, apparently. Well, if he isn't a rapper, why the hell are you talking about rap music? That doesn't make sense. Is that fair? You ain't at no parties I go to. I don't see you out anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Respectfully. So I'm just asking a question. Freddy P, if you're going to do all this talking, make it work for you in the long run, my boy. That's what Puff would have told you. Where the new music at? So you sit up here and you talk all that shit about Puff. Tell about the shit he taught you. Because he taught all of us some shit. They probably would have taught y'all less because y'all were kind of like strangers. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm being honest with you. Certain motherfuckers, they wasn't privy to certain shit. You know what I'm saying? But because you can't. Sometimes you never know what you're creating. It's a very stern practice that's been used for a very long time in the music industry. You have to be careful with some people, you know what I'm saying? Because you never know what they're plotting. Trust me. As you can see with all these tell-alls that happen nowadays online. I know it all, I was there. I saw it all. Give me $1,000, I'll tell you everything. Give me some cheddar biscuits and a 6-piece, I'll tell you everything. What's this, the first 48? Streets is a myth, dog. These motherfuckers were sitting around us the whole time and they were snitches for some cheddar biscuits and a 6-piece. And get him a great drink. He gotta have a great drink. Canned goods and cash apps for everyone. Canned goods and cash apps for everybody. Cash App and canned goods. Yes, it is, my friend. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's why I said I don't appeal. See, my whole thing now is I have to appeal to a broader audience. That's the whole thing now. I'm trying to get a broader audience. I'm trying to get people the grape drink. They got to have the grape drink. Yes, for my beverage, I have a grape drink. If you don't have that, I'll possibly give me a sweetened lemonade. Your finest squeezed lemonades. Shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Let's go get, you know what I'm saying? Let me stop. Got people on here talking about all kinds of stuff. It's the truth, man. It's the truth. So that's why I don't wet too much. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be on here with y'all for like another hour, then I'm going to get up off of here. We have conversations here. I don't like doing podcasts because I find it so boring to have the same dialogue or whatever. So, I go over here and I check this website. All right, let me regurgitate what they said. You know what I'm saying? Or I go over here, oh, this is the latest that's happening in the charge. Yeah, I get bored with that shit. As soon as you hop off here with me, you're going to go see the podcast, and you're going to be like, oh, they were talking about the same shit this guy was talking about. So it does nothing. So what I do is I make sure that I have a unique individual perspective, which is partial about neutrality. I try to be fair. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want to dismay anybody. But one of the things that fucking grounded my gears today was the fact that the Miami mayor, Mr. Hernandez, or the deputy mayor, he wanted to take away Puff's key to the city. Now, incoincidentally, I ain't trying to be too fucking funny. Hell yeah, too much coattailing. It's just like, oh my God, every day, bro. I'll go into that in a minute. But it's like almost every day I can go look at Law Crime Network, and then this chick TT, it's the one that's always online, the little light-skinned gal, thinks she's cute. My personal opinion, I think that chick is nuttier than squirrel shit. Like I don't even say. That's why I call her by her use her name as an acronym, because I think she's batshit fucking crazy. Anybody that dedicates, this chick is up at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning uploading shit about Puff. I'm like, bitch, you are thirsty. Like, for real. And she has nothing else to talk about. Like, nothing. She segued and she was talking about something else, but it seems to be her modus operandi is talking about freaking, like, I don't know, stars. Like, she has nothing else. And she seems quite obsessed. Like, it's one thing about being, and I would have to say, if not partially, fully a misandrist. She doesn't like men. Particularly, she doesn't like men of colors. I've noticed on her channel, she has a frequency of bigging up white men, but always thinking the worst of black men and Latin men, which is kind of funny to me. And she does the same. She bigs up black women, but she does it in this like Chrissy Love, Foxy Brown 70s way. Ooh, child, and I got the, when they talk all like that, I'll watch any broad that talk like that. Like, trust me when I'm telling you, they up to something. I know what she up to. She up to them views. So, I don't know, and I don't, like I said, I ain't here to diss her or nothing like that, because I really do think she's got some issues. Like, listen, I rocked with the company for 17 fucking years, and I don't even sit up here. I'm at the arraignments, every fucking thing else. I don't sit up here and talk about Puff every day. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I try to give y'all a little diatribe outside that bullshit, because at the end of the day, it's a waste of time. It's like, nigga, like, you can say all that shit you want to. You're going to be doing that every day. And the shit gets boring. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, what else are we got to talk about? She ate the Kendrick Lamar Drake shit. I heard that part too, yeah. I mean, the TT chick, she cool, you know what I'm saying? But I just think, like she's, like, let me give you an example. She called Puff's mom stupid and an idiot. She calls his kids names and shit like that. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, well, bitch, who the fuck are you? Like we have a lot of projection of people on YouTube nowadays that like to project themselves as being something they're not. I mean, generally in society, we got a lot of people that do that. They don't have any of the accolades. They didn't go to college. They've never done anything that's worth talking about, such as myself and others that I've worked with. They really don't have any credentials on their resume outside of, let's say, general labor, And that to them, and respectfully, that infrastructure is needed in this country. But, like, for you to go out of your way and act like you're automatically the shining star when your background is blue collar, that ain't the way this country works. It might work that way where you're from, but it doesn't work this way here. We under capitalism here. You understand what I'm saying? So when I see people like this online that try to warrant themselves as being bigger than what they are based on a couple of followers and shit like that, and they don't have any real credentials, they don't have any real works that are worth mentioning, I just laugh at them. I say, oh, say your whole catalog and resume is basically YouTube regurgitations. Dead ass serious. Basically, this YouTube regurgitation. I think it should be a subject to be tackled. YouTube regurgitation, meaning that you go somewhere and the premise of all your shows is just regurgitating something that you heard earlier. That's it. You don't have any type of insight on it or anything like that or whatever, really. You just regurgitating what you, yeah, a bunch of sheep. And the sheep will follow right behind the person that regurgitates the best. So if it's TT or whoever the best regurgitator is for the week, that's who they following behind. Blah, you know what I'm saying? Bah, like a bunch of sheep. And that shit is crazy. And these are people that sit around all the, it's confusing to me that niggas will be sitting around talking about, no, we ain't with a simulation. We all with, you know what I'm saying, getting the compilation together and doing this, doing that, and the other and the third. You are the biggest bunch of matrix-based fucking, y'all let this fucking app pimp y'all the fuck out. Where son now, y'all believe me y'all own lies. That shit's crazy to me. It's mental, to be quite honest with you. It's mental, you know? Yeah, it gets boring as shit. Nobody has their own opinion about anything. And you know why they don't? Because they're unaccomplished. So what they do instead is, people like myself, regardless of what he's saying, he's still family, Gene Dill, regardless of what they say in Bonds, and people like us who actually been around. Like I took these motherfuckers to Daddy's house recording studio because y'all said there was some chick up there that came up there and said she had some motherfucker listening. These niggas are sitting up here telling you about this shit online. I take y'all there. Niggas said, no, we ain't give you no cash ass because we don't like the way you talk. You ain't nice enough. You know what I'm saying? It's a very childish playground. So, you know, like after you hear that a couple times or you see the results of when you cover real shit or whatever, and still niggas ain't blessing the cash app or nothing like that and rewarding your work, but they rewarding a nigga sitting in their bedroom or their living room or their kitchen, you know, the disdain is there. It's like, all right, these niggas ain't real. They just a bunch of regurgitators and they prefer regurgitation. That's it. Yeah, they be in control. They don't understand this app. This app has allowed people their innermost feelings. They're able to express them unchallenged, unedited, and presumptuous tones. They're always presumptuous tones, and they're always tones that well, I find when it comes to Black and Latins amongst each other, they're always presumptuous tones and accusations back behind them, you know? Like, and I say to myself, I say, okay, well, if you're accusing somebody else of doing something, what have you done in your life? Let's put you under a microscope and see what you've done. Like, I'll give you a perfect example here. We talk all this stuff about Diddy and children being, possibly being attacked or whatever. Right now, Black and Latin alike, y'all got an uncle named Hector or you got an Uncle Willie. And Uncle Willie or Hector been touching kids in the family for 15, 20 years. And y'all ain't said shit to Uncle Willie. Matter of fact, if you go to your mama right now and say something about Uncle Willie, she's gonna be, don't you talk about my brother like that. Don't you talk about Theo like that. And y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. Y'all got people in your own family that been accused of shit. And y'all don't say nothing about this. So should we do a live about them too? Let's do a live about Uncle Willie. They've been sitting in that back bedroom at your grandma's house for the past 35 fucking years. And y'all don't say nothing about Uncle Willie. Let's talk about Theo Hector. They've been touching little girls and fondling little girls in the house. Let's talk about it. Since y'all are so concerned, right? And this is when I talk about the fake advocacy and these armchair advocates. You know, armchair advocate is defined easily as somebody that sits in their home or whatever, wants to put up a post or do a little video from the kitchen or the bedroom or whatever and talk about what's what and what you should be listening to or whatever. I say, fuck them all. You're not out here with the rest of us. And that's the problem with it. You don't get the respect as a person that's a vlogger that's out here and actually in the midst of stuff or whatever. There's been times I've gotten up at 4:30, 5:30 in the morning to make sure that I'm at the courthouse so I can film Trump. I can film Jonathan Majors. I can film freaking Puff in all three of these arraignments or whatever. And as you notice, you guys, I'm in the press area. I'm around real media, including People Magazine, Fox. In fact, if you guys called the last arraignment I went to, I had Lisa Evers from Fox News with me. So, you know, like, to be somebody that's in that environment, I hear these YouTubers and they're just very careless, they're very salacious, they're very nasty, they're very mean-spirited. And I hear these people and they just talk so manufacturally about a business that they've never been around. They talk about individuals in a business they don't know. And we're just supposed to suck it up and be like, oh yeah, they know what they're talking about. No, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about because they wasn't around. You're being presumptuous and you're saying whatever you want to, and you're thinking that we're having a trial here on YouTube. YouTube is not a courthouse. And thank God it isn't. Because if we had to look up to these people, many of them are your own persuasion, now on here nowadays trying to have trial, jury, and hang on here online, we'd be in trouble. Yeah, it's crazy out here. It's crazy out here. Guys, make sure y'all take time if y'all like in the diatribe I'm talking about that's opposite of that usual bedroom, my front kitchen, and my family's house type of jargon. Make sure y'all hit that like button. And also make sure y'all hit that Cash App. Support the channel, man. I heard a lot of people say, I'm going to hit you up on Friday. Well, it's past Friday. It's Sunday. What's happening? What's the problem? Y'all make sure to hit that Cash App up and support this channel, man. For real, for real. You know what I'm saying? Don't let me get on some of y'all. It's the first of the month. Wake up, wake up, wake up, and hit that Cash App up. I like joking with y'all sometimes, man, having fun here. But it's the truth, man. You got a lot of these bloggers that are in the bedroom, in the kitchen, or whatever, and they're taking in thousands of dollars a month for doing absolutely nothing. But that is a state and position of now in the urban space when it comes to YouTubing. Who can lie and expose the most? And I find it boring, but it's on its way out of here. You'll see. It's on its way out of here. Man, shit is crazy, man. Shit is crazy. My final thoughts, I'm gonna get up out of here because if I don't see no support, I always get up out of here. I don't talk too much. You know what I'm saying? I don't ever talk too much. All right. Yeah, I don't never talk too much on here. Too much. What I learned is if you talk too much on here and you get people, like I answered one question because that dude, he had been here before. He was always nice. But let me tell you new YouTubers something because I'm gonna start talking about what I had to talk about. That's all I had to talk about. That won't bounce. If you keep rewarding people, and like I said, and make sure y'all hit that like button, I appreciate it. I just want to say this to you guys, and then I'm gonna head up out of here, right? You guys have started becoming slaves to your own rhythm and orchestrators of your own demise. What you're currently facilitating here on YouTube by all these posts and blogs about Puff and he's guilty and we've got this and we've got that. The promotion of that girl that's nuttier than squirrel shit, Allie Carter. That girl needs to be in a psychiatric ward somewhere, not in front of cameras. That girl is visibly disturbed, all right? I don't care what nobody says. If you just listen to the pattern in which she talks, you can tell that girl is definitely disturbed. You understand? And she should be on some type of medication or something like that. But these are the people in the urban space that they reward. These are the people they call truth tellers, and she's a truth servant, and all these other crazy inoculations that they piece together or whatever to make themselves feel good for what's better known as just a bunch of gossiping. You understand what I'm saying? Which would have been condemned in the same community not even 15, 20 years ago. They used to talk about people like this, gossipers and all that stuff or whatever. The term even itself, the truth tellers, comes from what you formerly knew in this country as tree stump preachers. You know, they go or they cut a tree log off. They used to do it on 125th Street in New York. This is where Malcolm X and even Al Sharpton they come from. If you look up, you'll see a picture of Al Sharpton standing on a tree trunk. But they got it from old Pentecostal preachers that used to travel. And what they used to do is they used to cut off a tree stump. They put it in the back of the wagon. Wherever they traveled to, it would heighten them up. So they would stand on the tree stump and they preach whatever they were preaching, whether they're Pentecostal, whether they were Catholic, whether they were, well, it wasn't the Catholics, but the Mormons, Gnostics, many other secular groups or whatever, Christianity, especially here in the state of Connecticut. Our population is made up of mostly here, the Gnostics. So you would have these people that would travel from, place to place to place or whatever, doing this type of rhetoric. This is the same thing that you're seeing now here on YouTube. You got a whole bunch of tree stump preachers selling snake oils, Alex Jones used to try to be on here and actually sell motherfucking snake oils. You see what they did with him, right? Don't talk about Connecticut, man. It ain't gonna end up good for you. I tell people all the time, our Senator Blumenthal, he was the one that brought Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook. He's the one that brought him in front of Congress. Talk about liberal. We liberal out here in that fashion. But in regards, we ain't talking about morality, because who has some in it nowadays? The problem is, in the urban space, a lot of people are being rewarded for not doing anything except regurgitating things that they hear on other people's podcasts, regurgitating gossip, regurgitating hearsay, or whatever. And they're very good at it. I'll give them that. They're really good at it. But when it comes to concrete freaking journalism, nah. That's called salacious. And you're just being salacious because it garners in viewers. They used to have a newspaper that came out. It was a little weekly thing you could buy at the grocery store. It was called The Sun. Y'all remember this? If you're anywhere between the ages, I don't know, 20 to 35, you remember this. They used to have the little Sun newspaper. It used to be right there in the aisle where you were checking out. And it'd be like, Bat Boy found in Amazon, or, a UFO was found floating over Portugal or some shit. and an alien was hanging out the window. And then when you go in there, it's just pictures. You know what I'm saying? But these are the same type of individuals that you got here on YouTube nowadays. They're basically the Sun, the National Enquirer, in a new form and packaged up. And what they do is they have you believe things and fallacies that are not true, and they do it for their own particular reasons. Have you not thought one time that many of these people that want to see puffed down, they've even said it out of their own mouth? I've heard several women now say, that's right, get that nigga. But had nothing to say about the guy from Abercrombie and Fitch. I've heard several black women say so far, yeah, that nigga going down. A lot of them are so jealous of him, they want to see him lose every dime that he's got. That's a new fancy now. We want to see you make a whole bunch of money and then lose it all. This is a culture for you. Now, what the fuck kind of good culture is that? We want to see you get on top so we can take it away from you. We're going to enjoy seeing you rise to the top, but we're going to even more enjoy watching your downfall. Now, feel individually as you must. But the premise of the conversation, what I'm trying to extract to you is this. When you start getting that type of momentum and that type of lateral thinking going on amongst the masses, it leads to nothing good 5 to 10 years from now. Because when I'll say it again, and I said it once, one of these days, a lot of you ladies especially is going to be your son. It's going to be your nephew. Might even be your daddy. Might even be that uncle that really paid attention to you when you were younger. You think of him as your father. One of these days, the same shit that you're sitting up here and you're advocating, take that nigga down. I've literally heard black women say, take that nigga down, which has made me rethink and I had to rethink it very deeply too. There's a certain type of black woman that I will defend. And then there's a certain type that I will absolutely not defend. You know what I mean? Dude, I don't care what most is going on. I'm going to tell you why. I've noticed that all these women have hopped online and they've denounced Puff, and that's cool. I'm cool with that. You can denounce them all you want to. It's just the connotations that put in it. If you close your eyes and you hear some of the diatribe and some of these, when y'all excuse me, I'm grabbing some candy. If you hear the diatribe and some of these women and what they talk about, it will amazingly blow your mind. It's like they sit online, right? And it is actively have these conversations about destroying their own men. And it's disturbing. It's very disturbing. And I said to myself, okay, we got women like that, and they're online, and this is their modus operandi, then why the fuck should we defend them? That's a question, right? I had a whole band of particular creed of women in a thinking pattern sit here and tell me You wrong for asking for donations. But you know who's okay? You know who we okay with asking for donations? This chick that got kicked off of YouTube for endorsing that she should exclusively abort black male babies. Thank you very much. That's what it seems like to me too. I ain't gonna read that out like you said it. I'd be blue marble, but yeah, pretty much. Sent you a tiny something on the Cash App. Thank you for your show. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Yeah, I'm gonna be asking for much. You'd be surprised. It's so many places we've been on here. I've taken people to where Nas grew up. I took them where Jay-Z grew up. I took them. I had Talib Kweli on here. I had Lisa Evers on here from Fox News. Jesus Christ! I did the Book of Hov, which was the exhibition for Jay-Z down there in Brooklyn. I did a piece this last week at WWF headquarters for Vince McMahon. Like, I've done a lot of joints, you know, and it's sad, but you know, a lot of people, they don't support me because they feel like, and this is why I say that matrix type of thinking comes into play. That a lot of people are sitting in capsules here on social media nowadays. You know, a lot of people outwardly say, oh, well, I'm against this establishment and all this and blah, blah, blah. And then you're so stupid that you're blind to see the fact in the psychological term that your dopamines are fed by the very same things that you're freaking standing against. You tune in to watch the same stuff that you say you're against. It's like the most confusing form of thinking I've ever seen. It's like tuning in for your own demise. This separates in your advocacy of saying, yeah, down with Puff, down with Puff, down with Puff, down with Puff. The white associations are getting involved in it. When I saw Pierce Morgan, and this is no shout at them, I grew up around Italians and Greeks, so that's ridiculous. But when I saw Pierce Morgan getting involved in it, I saw Australia and a couple other different outlets getting involved in it, I said, oh, we got something real here. And I saw in every last one of those editorials, noticeably enough, they almost always have a black woman. I said, baby girl, you can't see y'all being used as pawns? They want you against us because it dies down the population. What they're trying to do is surmise the population, and you don't get it. This is why they got a Planned Parenthood in almost every hood in America. Every hood in America got a Planned Parenthood. I don't care what nobody say. Go around the corner right now. Think about it right now. If you live in the hood, what a Planned Parenthood had around you? I be telling y'all all the time, I got the spirit of Dick Gregory, motherfucking Millie Fuller, and the Honorable Drew Ali, all in me. That's what he would have said to you. God bless his heart. I was watching some old Dick Gregory interviews right before he passed on. And I said, okay, this is how he would want. And this is why he got so frustrated as he got older. Because he said, why don't these niggas see it? That's what he was really saying. He said, why don't you niggas see it? And then when he used to do that, you just shut your mouth now. Be quiet. You just hush, nigga. And he meant it like, you know, because I got an uncle that talk like that. He's black American. It is funny. But they sincerely mean what they're saying. And so I remember Dick Gregory used to talk about all this stuff, and a lot of people don't seem to be able to separate that Dick Gregory was actually a comedian first. He was in show business. Then he became an activist. But I remember so many things that this man said before he passed on. And they had all these different lives about him. You know, everybody was trying to interview Dick Gregory and find out what he had to say. And this is someone that is part of my great-grandmother's generation. I think Dick Gregory was about 80 years old when he passed away. 80 plus something. I think he was headed towards 90 if I'm not mistaken. And listening to some of these old interviews he had, and I encourage a lot of y'all, go back and listen to some of these interviews that Dick Gregory had, and go back and listen to a lot of these, James Baldwin, a lot of these people, whatever. You'll notice that a lot of the things that y'all are saying right now, they were warning y'all about it then. I literally heard James Baldwin talk about how computers were going to manipulate a whole population, basically. You understand what I'm saying? Shortly before he died, you know? A lot of these men predicted the situations that were to come. And so I believe it is our choice and it is our duty, you understand what I'm saying? Because I'm getting older, to tell y'all when y'all fucking up. And right now you're fucking up. I don't give a shit how you think about him. Don't help them. Because it blankets us all. I would never put myself in a situation where I will be daily on here advocating against Black American women. I just wouldn't. I have my times where I'm like, fuck you bitches. You know what I'm saying? I'll be quite honest with you. Sometimes y'all come in and say some fucked up shit. But if I saw one of you on the street, she was getting attacked or something like that, which I've proven now a couple of times, I'm gonna help you the fuck out. Would you do the same for me? And many times what you'll find out is no. I've seen men get into situations with the police in New York City and abroad. And it's funny as hell, the sisters will sit there and look at them and be like, he did something, or they'll talk about him, or make fun of him, or whatever the case may be. I'm dead serious, this is the truth. They will not reach out to help you. If it's an older Black woman, they usually will do that. But the younger ones, no, they'll laugh at you. Oh, you must have did something. I've seen this with my own 2 eyes. Not one time, not 2 times, several times. Usually if you look at the elk of the woman that's doing this, there's somebody trying to fit into society and think they're bigger than what they are, and when you find out they got a job history of working at McDonald's. Previous or currently. A lot of people live in delusions about their job titles. Don't let it fool you. Don't let it fool you. I say and I mentioned Dick Gregory because he came into my soul when I was listening to some stuff last night. And I said, damn, this is the same thing I'm trying to tell them. They being fooled. You think you're doing the noble thing here, but when I heard Kalina the other day, was her part of Diddy Dirty Money, she said what I've been telling y'all months ago. I told y'all in a different way, but I held back from saying what I was saying. Cassie was a drug addict. Okay, so y'all tell me the nigga was doing the pink cocaine, which we all know Puff was getting high. The nigga was doing the pink cocaine, was only doing the pink cocaine by himself. What y'all saw in that hotel room, that hotel breezeway right there, with Cassie and Puff, that was 2 addicts fighting. That was 2 cokeheads fighting. Oh, okay, that ain't funny, right? Okay, so a lot of y'all watching me right now, right? I'm gonna give y'all an example. A lot of y'all watching me right now, right? Especially if you live in any city, major city in the United States. I don't care if that couple's Black. I don't care if that couple's white. I don't care if that couple's Puerto Rican, whatever. I don't care if they're a drug addict or alcoholic. We all got that one couple in the town or in the city that we all know. We all know they get fucked up. We all know they get high. And we'll be like, here you go, Bill. Here go $10. Because Bill, that motherfucker, hey, just stay right here. I'll watch your car while you go in. I'll tell you. And we all know them crackhead couples, they get into fights. All the time. I've seen a crackhead whoop the fuck out of his girlfriend before, and we had to pull him up off of him. They were having a drug addict fight, and I don't know why nobody says that. I don't know why nobody says that. That was a drug addict fight. We was talking about baby oil, and he was up in there with a man, and all this shit. Why the fuck you worry about somebody else's sexuality is beyond me. I'm just here to start asking questions, especially some of these girls. Is it fair to ask if a girl over there had a choo-choo ran on her? Some of these girls is talking. You ever ask these girls that stuff, y'all? I need to, let me share this some more, because I need my chat room lit up for that. Should we start asking the badge facts on some of these women that's talking all loud about Puff and others? Should we start asking about their badge facts? Like, Where's your vajay been? Has your vajay ever been shared by? Listen, man. Listen, man. I done had beautiful women in my disposal, both as girlfriends, long-term and short-term. Both, I'm talking about beautiful women. I'll show y'all some pictures of the type of women I've been around. Make no mistake about it. You know what I'm saying? And it's still like that to this day. I presented y'all 3 beautiful Honduran women on here this last year. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to do that no more. I stopped having my women on here. You know what I'm saying? But I've always dealt with beautiful women. And I'm talking about some more extraordinary, more beautiful than others. It didn't have anything to do with necessarily race for me. It had to do with who their character was. I've dated a woman from a fool of Israel. I've dated a Turkish woman. I've dated a German woman. My last girlfriend was a Muslim. I was with her, well, definitely one of the longest relationships I've been in. I was with her for 7 years. A beautiful woman. Without her burqa or with it. And a beautiful soul inside for the most part. Except for our little disgruntledness on my behalf about certain things, but you know, it is what it is. But my point is, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about the pure simple fact that we have a lot of women out here that try to play like they're this high morality sexually. And I told y'all this story before, and I'm gonna tell y'all again. I don't know why a lot of these other guys don't get on here and talk about the same thing, but let's spit real facts. This is real facts. The time and era that you have right now, that you have in media with these, like, I don't know, what do you want to call them? Online models, whatever you want to call them or whatever. And OnlyFans girls and all that stuff or whatever. Well, not too long ago, in a not so distant past, maybe 10 years ago, and I would even say less than that, maybe 8 years ago, you had women that would show up in multiple functions. Yeah, the main ones were, if you don't believe me, ask Gene Dill, ask Roger Barnes, they're going to tell you the same shit. You had people the girls that would show up and they'd be at every event. So say if it was All-Star Weekend, you see the same girls at All-Star Weekend, and then you see the same girls again at Super Bowl. Then you see the same girls again at Essence Week. Then you see the same girls at NCAA. Then you see the same girls, and then it became a pattern. Now, next year, they have the Super Bowl over at this place. They have, always going to be Memorial Day weekend and Columbus Day weekend in Miami. But you'll see the same girls there year after 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 year. And I've seen this. I witnessed this. Many of the other guys that's on here that's talking to bloggers or whatever that have been in the business, y'all seen this too. And so these girls, they would be at the same, and there were certain type of elk of girls. Let me underline that. This wasn't all women. A lot of women came down there to party, have a good time, then go on the fuck back home where they're from. But there was a certain type of elk of women that did this professionally. They were professionally thoughts. All right, let's just put it out there. And these girls will be at every event or whatever, hoping to get chose. I'm going to give me a ball player. He just got sat down for 1.8 million, you know, like, or more. You know what I'm saying? And so these girls, I don't know how you want to say it, they matriculated their thoughts and privileges and entitlement as women, just in general as women with a vajay. And they started getting into circles, in my opinion, that they shouldn't have been in. And so when you get people that have insidious intentions amongst men, this is where you get your Amber Roses and your Karuchis and all these other despicable women that you've seen on here that somehow group themselves together with women that have graduated from Yale University and shit like that. It blows my mind. Ladies, that is the biggest mistake you could ever do in your life. Stop letting OnlyFans models group themselves in with you. Talking about, well, I'm an entrepreneur. No, bitch, you're a whore. Y'all girls need to stop doing that shit. If you go to nursing school every day, or you work a 9 to 5, or you busting your ass raising your kids or something like that, stop letting OnlyFans models sit in the same space with y'all. I know a lot of y'all guys want to say that to these girls, so I say it for you. That shit disgusts me. Because a couple years ago in the game, that would have been a hoe. Now we're trying to normalize OnlyFans. I'm not normalizing OnlyFans. It's nasty work. Now, and before anybody comes on here and says, "Oh, well, you're being misogynistic," and fuck you. I told you I'm not that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck you. Simple as that. I don't agree with it. And anybody that agrees or anticipates, there are girls out here, especially the older chicks, they're out here coaching these young girls. Oh, you should become an OnlyFans model when you're 18. Why? So she could be like your old ass? You got chicks out here 40, 45 years old trying to coach young girls. When you turn 18, get on OnlyFans. Don't go to college, get on OnlyFans. So now, they done put you in the gang. It's like a madam. That's what madams do. You know that? That's what madams do. I'm trying to tell you, that's what a madam do. A madam says, all right, let's go on out here. She looks for young girls, puts them out there on the block, and says, go ahead. And when daddy come through, he gonna break you off a couple dollars. I don't pimping when I see it. They pimping these girls. So if you get some old broad, listen to me, ladies. Stop listening to these old broads that's 35, 45 fucking years old and don't look like shit. All right? They on OnlyFans for a reason. They ain't got nothing else to do. They ain't got shit going on. Ain't nobody choose them. Don't nobody want to marry them. The shop about to close up. Fellas, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Nobody want them. And they'll try to shame you because the real deal is men that are 35, 40, 45 years old, I'm not checking for a chick that's 35, 40, 45 fucking years old. I'm checking for a chick that's anywhere between the ages of 28, maybe tops 34. And this has been the same way since the days of kings. You don't believe me? The king had a what? A consort. This ain't something of my doing, my bringing. Kings from Ireland to England to Africa have always been the same. Why? Because that older man can take care of you. That older man you can learn something from. You can't learn nothing from a motherfucker that's the same age as you. So, with that being said, y'all are these old broads that then hit wit's bottom. They never had education. They never did anything worth talking about. Or online promoting that young girls jump on OnlyFans. It's the most sickening shit I ever seen in my life. Trying to, you gotta get a little track and giving one-on-ones on how you can be successful. What the fuck? But we don't have those conversations. That's why I said my channel is dedicated to having conversations. I'm not here to regurgitate things that you've heard previously. You understand what I'm saying? I know, right? When them girls get old and see themselves, they're gonna hate. Yeah, passed around. So let me finish what I was saying here. So what you have is, you have a lot of these girls, right, that end up getting in the game. They in the game at 18, 19, 20 years old. We was putting it on Cali and New York. You say they put them out there on the bridge on Fordham, put them out there on the bridge on Slauson or something like that, Figueroa. Yeah, shit. You understand? And they put these girls out there, and that's no different than a madam. That's what madams do. They co-manage for pimps. So you got these girls, and now here they are. They're on OnlyFans and all this stuff, or whatever. $4.99 per view. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a market, and it's a motif that's old. I remember before this, you had the call-in sex lines, and then before then, you understand what I'm saying? So the model for a lot of these girls, when they were going to these different events, whether it be All-Star Weekend, whether it be whatever, they were there to get chosen because they had financial goals, if you want to say as silly as it sounds. They had financial goals, and for some women that are uneducated, some women that don't have anything to offer, some women that just, y'all know what I'm talking about, fellas. You get around that one girl, you're like, oh my God, I do not see a lot of women don't know they appear like that to some guys. Guys, y'all won't be saying for you, like, the girls you talk to when they just say, and you're like, oh God, you really think you're exciting, huh? About bored as a fucking bag full of bricks. Like the fuck? I can't stand a bored chick. If I annoy you by having a conversation with you, or you're annoyed by having a conversation with me, you definitely ain't the person for me. I like to talk. What are you saying here? Ruined reputation. Imagine when their kids see it down the line. They don't think about their kids seeing it down the line, and that's one of the things that bothers me. You know, it's all shits and giggles right now because kids 6, 7 years old, maybe even an infant. Because a lot of these girls, they be on there, they just fresh out a C-section scar. You understand what I'm saying? Baby fat ain't even went away yet. You understand what I'm saying? Damn, Tanya, you ain't even healed up all the way yet. Oh, well, it's been 3 weeks. Let me hop back on this motherfucker with this rusty muzzle. Hop back on here with this slightly used muscle. And entertain some more, because the baby got to have some Pampers. All right, fellas, what's up? $4.99 per view. I'm back at it on OnlyFans. I know I just got out of birth 3 weeks ago, but we back at it. This is how these girls think nowadays. If you don't believe me, you crazy. You men have got to stop thinking, especially you young men, that these are the girls that were like your auntie, your mama, your sister, you know, like Titi, you know what I'm saying? Iwela. No, these ain't those women. These is hoes, professional hoes. Oh, they've been cornering their skills, some of them since they were young girls, because their mama had them at 12, 13, 14 years old. I ain't here to bullshit you. How many of y'all went to school with girls that had babies at 12 or 13 years old? Speak up in the chat room. I want to hear you. Because what you dealing with right now in the demographic between the kids that are about 15 through 24, you're dealing with the offspring of ex-club bitches. And I'm going to say it to you plain. All them little chicks that used to interrupt class, used to skip school, all that shit or whatever, and they ended up fucked up and getting pregnant at 12 or 13 years old, didn't graduate till they was 27 and shit. You know, they went and got the GED, some shit like that. All them chicks, that's their kids. Not all of them, but a majority of them. You know, auntie used to watch them. Grandma used to watch them. Grandma was like 67 years old. She finished raising her kids. Now you got these little bastard ass kids coming right behind them. Now, if the daughter wasn't shit, and this is my logic, if the daughter wasn't shit and she turned around and had a baby when she was 12 or 13 years old, what the fuck you think gonna be the product the second go around? You was 21 with your first child? Okay, well, there was a little show that used to come on MTV. It was called 16 and Pregnant. Anybody remember it? That show stayed on consecutively for years. You think they ran out of motherfucking contestants? You understand what I'm saying here? So you had a whole slew, and I don't think this is taken into consideration. You had a whole slew, and I remember this. I'm in my early 40s now, so I remember this. You had a whole contingent of girls that were between the ages of 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, any major city you go to in the United States, and these girls were 12, 14, 15 years old having babies. I don't give a fuck how much you want to eradicate this one. The conversation is the truth. This is why MTV had a show that ran consecutively for seasons called 16 and Pregnant. They even have fucking reunion shows. I don't like living with people that live out of reality or want to act like, oh, this doesn't pertain to me. Wasn't nobody on 16 and Pregnant, black or Latino. These were all rural white women. I think they had 2 girls on the show, and the whole time the show came on, and I think they were biracial. See what I'm saying here? Yeah, they still all having babies. They still all having babies. Let me tell you something. There was I remember at one of the high schools, the area I used to live at, it had gotten so bad that they had to open up a separate wing in the high school for these chicks that were pregnant. This is the truth. So you're dealing with a lot of the offspring of ex-club chicks. Nobody wants to have the conversation. The byproducts of ex-club chicks are the problem in this country right now. And then the stuff that they spewed for years in these children's ears. Mind you, a Jerry Springer. I used to film Jerry Springer here where I live at. Do you know that? I live in Connecticut, so they filmed Jerry Springer here where I used to live at. That is God honest truth, as well as Maury too. You know, I love my damn state. I really do. I really love my state. So I always have to plug them. I must admit, I used to be an escort. But I gratefully those days are over. That's all right if you used to be an escort. I ain't here judging. No. You got me confused. I ain't judging the women that were in the game. Get your money, ma. I ain't judging the women that were in the game. I'm talking about if you made $20,000 within 2 weeks, Chick, you got fucking options now. You know, understand what I'm saying? Why continue to keep tricking and buying cars that you leasing, renting an apartment that you leasing? Like, go put the money into something, you know? And so when I hear a lot of these women talk about how educated they are and how smart they are, the men and da. I said, well, you can't be that smart, bitch. You just let me make 20 bands in 2 weeks. I guarantee you, I ain't going to buy no cars, I ain't buying no clothes, none of that. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not doing none of that. And I've proven that. I'm a Taurus. We're very good with money. We're extremely frugal. That's one of the best things I got going about me is I'm very frugal with money. I know how to make money work, as y'all have seen. Can't do that with a pimp. That's right. You make costumes from home. That's what's up. I got nothing but glad because they all went. Who went to jail, man? Tell me who went to jail. Who you talking about? Now you talking about the pimp niggas went to jail? That's what's up. Guys, make sure y'all hit that like button. Also, make sure y'all hit up the Cash App, support the channel. I appreciate it if y'all do. Damn, brother, you sent me $1? That's what's up, though. I ain't mad at you. Ending the show here, because like I said, I was just sitting over here past 2 hours. There ain't no support in here. There ain't no support. It is what it is. I always say that. But like I said, a lot of these girls, 10, 15 years ago, a lot of these girls would come up with these accusations or whatever. These girls, I'm not saying in particular or specifically, but a lot of these girls, they were going to back and forth to event after event after event after event after event after event after event, having a good time. A lot of them was doing the dirt voluntarily. A lot of them was doing the dirt because they thought there was something was going to come out of it. And in my personal opinion, when a lot of these girls saw nothing was going to come out of it, they turned around and they said, all right, this is what we're going to do. This is the new move now. We're going to start suing. We're going to start saying we was attacked, And you're seeing a lot of these cases get discredited because of that. If there are girls that really, really got what's the name. I believe that too. I believe that there's a possibility. I have to look at the demographics as far as that. I don't know what the demographics are as far as that, and I don't want to say it in this show, but I might take it up or whatever. Like, this is the way I do my shows. You know, I look for where people support and shit like that or whatever. That's what's up. That's what's up. I look for people that support or whatever. I don't talk too much on here and give too many people too many ideas to roll with. I just tell them what I tell them. And if they appreciate it, they appreciate it. Like I said, in the urban crowd, unfortunately, as the current temperament provides, especially with the men, I think like 54% of my what's the name. Let me tell you something. A lot of African Americans, they really hate each other. You'll find a lot of African American men, they will turn around, they will look and smile and be ready to tap dance with somebody of different races in their face. But when it's a man that looks just like them, they ready to hate, they ready to be mean, they ready to say some nasty shit. And so, you know, I just try, I don't know, especially on here. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't be worried too much or whatever. The men are worse than the women on here, on YouTube. The men will be on here, oh girl, what he gonna gossip about now, girl? And he's just, you know what I mean? What you gonna talk about now, girl? So in conclusion, a lot of these girls, they went to these events and things like that, got laid down, pat down, whatever the case, however you want to say it. And they did it voluntarily because they thought they was going to get a come up, and they didn't. They didn't. So now later on, when you all fat-faced and out of shape and on baby number 4 illegitimately, you now say, well, this is a new cash day now, and I'm going to come back, and all that gyrating I was doing and all that running around I was doing for all them years, I'm going to get a big payoff by doing what? By going online and talking about my made-up experience in most cases. I don't know, man. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. What's the best tuber I like for Diddy news? I don't even know. I don't even know if that makes sense. Who's fair? I say Night and Day is fair. I say Night and Day Network. Y'all go check them out. I like them. Who else would I say is fair? I think Godfrey had some free game he was giving out, even though he did it in a jokingly manner. I liked some of the commentary he had with him and his compadres over there. Um, not many, not many. Many of them is exactly as I'm explaining it right now. Most of them seem to be, to me, involved in this salacious point of it. They're not really involved in the partition of, okay, which one of these girls are lying. They're not in the specifics, and that's why I say thank God that it's not this batch of the urban community that's involved in this type of debauchery. It's a good thing that they're not trial and jury. We would all be in trouble, in my personal opinion, it's a bunch of gone with the wind types, Hattie McDaniels running around online. There's a lot of Hattie McDaniels running around online, y'all, without an Oscar. They deserve one, though, for all the acting they do. Like that one TT. I just can't, I don't know. I can't get animated and tap dancerish for cash apps. And maybe that's my problem. You know what I mean? I really don't, I don't really, you know what I'm saying? Choke, no joke. Choke, I'm gonna end this right here because like I said, I don't be on here for over 2 hours and I can't get no cash apps and no support. That's just me. Like I don't be on here for niggas for free. Fuck all that. I got shit to offer. So Choke, no joke. Let me tell y'all something about Choke, no joke. I will never disrespect Choke, no joke, because when I was down, and this is why I try to tell y'all a lot. Like, niggas been in situations or whatever. When I was down during the pandemic, I was down for a minute. I ended up in a homeless shelter and all kinds of shit. It's documented here on my channel. And so I went through some real shit in New York City and trying to escape New York and come back home here to Connecticut. And so I was living in the Bronx at the time. And Choke No Joke was one of the main, I ain't gonna say what it was about, but Choke No Joke was one of the main motherfuckers that really, I don't know how that's funny, but Choke No Joke was one of the main motherfuckers that stood up for me. You understand what I'm saying? Like he really, really spoke on me in a real way. And shout out to Big Jeff on the left, who I ran into in the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? That was another nigga too. He was just like I don't know, I appeal to real niggas. Like I don't appeal to fake motherfuckers, I guess. And so like I appeal to real dudes. Like I remember when I was filming the piece I did out in Queensbridge for Nas not too long ago. That was just this past summer. And brother, he's still part of my channel too, because he tagged me in something the other day. Brother that was part of Queensbridge and that whole upbringing over there. You know what I'm saying? He came and he said, yo, this is a real nigga right here. You know what I'm saying? He just out of the blue, just to say it. So God bless him. I remember when I was standing in front of Universal, same thing. Motherfuckers just come out of the blue. Like some people, they just pick that energy up and like they say it on camera. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. So Choke No Joke, he'll never get nothing negative said about me. I did have some words about him and Lord Jamal being on Piers Morgan's show, though. I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't like that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'll tell you why I didn't like it. Because their whole diatribe thus far up until that point had always been about black collectiveness and everything like that. And I think they actually had the same problem I have, except difference from me is I'm vocal about it. People were not supporting them and embracing them the way they should have been. You understand what I'm saying? And so a lot of people had a problem with that when they first saw Lord Jamal over there with Vlad. I remember that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people like, oh, the God sitting over there with Vlad, And then, so I had to raise the question, all right, well, what the God doing sitting over there with Piers Morgan? Don't he realize he using them? And you might, in factly, don't realize it, but you were in front of a federal inquiry. And I was like, how you ain't peeked that? You too old not to know that shit. And like I said, it's all about likes and views on here, though. That's what it lies with a lot of people. So I can understand him making that move because of the lack of support that he might not be receiving from the people. Now I don't be talking to people. That's another reason I don't get. I learn, like, see, I'm still an artist. I'm still writing music. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. I had one of our team leaders contact me. He was just like, yo, don't be talking to these people. I was like, no, I'm already ahead of you. I ain't never been talking to these niggas. Like, I had somebody just recently offer me $5 to sit down and talk with them. You know what I'm saying? With my experience in the bad boy and all this shit. And I said, nah, I'm good. And I could use that $5. What's funny is There's niggas that's in the rap community. Like, I don't even hold people like that. But what's funny is there's niggas in the rap community that bother me, that go to clubs to spend $2,000, $3,000 on a chick that they don't even know, whatever. Meanwhile, you got white men out here and all different types of men that are giving other men money within their culture. You know what I'm saying? Which is weird to me. But black men, they have so much pride, I guess. Black American men, they have so much pride because I don't know. I don't want to say that. I think a lot of them just try to hold on to this false sense of pride or what. I'm a man. Well, that's not how the culture operates. You know what I'm saying? That's how an individual operates, you know? So I don't really hold too much of contempt with that when it comes to the subscribers and everything like that. I just know you have to know if you are a male vlogger and you happen to be black or dark-skinned Latino, you're not going to be supported by other black men on here unless you're bashing women or you like that's a market they make donations off of. If you're bashing women, if you're in the T sector, that preferably works out for those guys over there in the LGBTQ community. What's the other niches I think that they make money off of with the urban community? It's certain niches that the urban community seems to embrace more so than others. But like plain talk and having conversations like that, you know, yeah, man. Jag is blowing up on social media here in Europe. She has no idea she is being set up for her fall. Yeah, she is. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said I'm related to DMX. Now, I ain't related to DMX. Yeah, like those gloves. Yeah, man. Believe it or not, but I ain't even gonna brag what brand these are. These are name brand gloves. Like, they're stitched like this. The same thing with the jacket is stitched like this. Just came like this. I remember last year somebody was like, "Oh, your jacket is fucked up," and then I opened it up and took the tag and literally showed them the tag. They're like, "Oh, okay, never mind." You know what I'm saying? The shit come like this. Jag is blowing up on social media here in Europe, and she has no idea she's being set up for her fall. I think so too. I mean, like, I've been saying that about her. I saw one commentator he had on his show the other night. He was talking about, is she gonna be subpoenaed to come in and talk about Puff and everything? I saw that. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't work. You know, that's not my. I chose profession. I don't work in the legal realm. So I have no idea of how to quantitate. You know what I mean? Even give a guesstimate of that. What I will say is it's a possibility, and a lot of the other people that have been here online talking about these situations, and that's why I say I put in, like, you know, a lot of people are making up stories, adding sauce and marinara to shit that don't need it, and that's the problem for me. You understand? Yeah, it's all good. Everybody ever come on here and told me I look like DMX. I told them they film a DMX movie, man. Make sure I'm in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But I get DMX, what's the other one? Tupac, ASAP Rocky, Ocho Cinco, Dave Chappelle. They got one for everyone, man. It's funny. You know what I'm saying? I don't get the Dave Chappelle shit because I look nothing like Dave Chappelle. Nothing. Dave Chappelle has like real big eyes. The narrative she paints has too many holes. I mean, you know, it is what it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? I can't navigate I can't navigate her ship. You know, her ship is already sailed. So many times I've done podcasts trying to, you know, say good things about Jaguar or whatever. She makes it very hard. You know, the stories are vamped up. I heard this recently. She talking about she got certain Diddy tapes and all this stuff. I always say the same thing. The same thing I was talking about with Freddy P. You wasn't around. You know what I'm saying? And now several other people have said the same thing that was part of Bad Boy too. I said, well, shit, I said it a year and a half ago. She wasn't around, you know? She wasn't around. I mean, and it's not to diss her. She just wasn't around. And if she was, what were you doing? You was hiding around the corner or something? Because I ain't see you, you know? And many other people didn't either. So, you know, respectfully, I mean, you know, she can do what she want to do. But she better watch out because there is a possibility they will subpoena her. And then, like, if you're lying under the oath, they're going to arrest you and hold you in contempt of court. And you're going to have to do some time over that. You know, some people, they ain't scared to go to jail. I don't think she's scared to go to jail if that's the case. But that's all I say about that. I see some other stuff that's happened and transcended with Jaguar. And I think she should be more amped up on trying to take the vlogger atmosphere to a new hold. I would appreciate her more if she was trying to do that versus trying to take the music industry. And I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. The music industry hasn't really came at her. It's the vloggers that have come at her. They've done some terrible things to her. Call the police on her. I don't know who's responsible for that. I've heard mentions. You know what I'm saying? Calling her a drug addict when I don't know what she is or don't. Interviewing her son. You know, all kinds of this crazy shit. You never interview my son, nigga. Don't worry about the police. Don't worry about them. Now you all set, champ. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know, we don't talk about one of the bloggers. This motherfucker made a whole post. He's kind of like a, he's kind of a weirdo. He made a whole post. He said, Jaguar Wright blocked me on Patreon. I don't understand why, because you talk shit about it all the time. You know? Yeah, I had a whole podcast about that, about the mental health of a lot of these people on here. That's why I don't even look forward to them, like, donating to me or support my channel. I'm about to do the same thing. Trek off of here, off of YouTube more in this coming up year. I think it's more beneficial for me. YouTube, you know, the problem with YouTube is, I think Jaguar had this problem too. She's had several channels removed. But you can't really make money on YouTube unless you're gossiping about people, and that's a problem. And so that's why you'll see these people that are gossiping. I've even seen YouTubers that are literally made up lies. I saw a dude today, I took a screenshot of it. In his title it says, and I know y'all seen some of these crazy titles too, Diddy's about to end it all in jail. He's passing away. And I'm like, the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they just make up things. It's a daily basis because YouTube allows you, and they want you to, talk about current issues. But the problem is, they want you to talk about current issues in a salacious manner. You know what I mean? Yeah, clickbait. And they want you to do it on a daily basis. And so sooner or later, you start finding yourself in this quandary because you're like, okay, if I don't lie or have something like exciting to say about somebody and trying to tear them down, I'm not gonna get out there. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's what most of these YouTubers do nowadays. They tell lies, they make up shit on people, they get people to come in, back up their lies. It's a fuckery type of experience. And I'm not saying that you won't experience that on any other platforms, but I just think YouTube is dying. I think a lot of people are leaving here. They see the same thing. You can't make as much money as you possibly could on here, especially if you're an urban vlogger. You know, I talk all the time about how I've had wonderful material on here. Wonderful material that nobody else has. And instead of embracing it, I mean, it go this deep. 2 years ago, during Black History Month, I went to the place where Malcolm X was shot and killed. I might even do it again, just sort of pure simple fact to prove a point. I re-uploaded it, and that was one of the least viewed videos I have ever put up. That video literally got only like 27 views, and it had been sitting for 2 months. Nobody was interested in it. In that same time frame, I had put up something about Jaguar, and that shit got, like, I think it was like at least 8,000 views within like 3 days. So it goes to show you what YouTube promotes. No matter what hashtags you put on it, no, it doesn't matter. They promote certain type of material within, in my personal opinion, within the urban sphere to keep y'all arguing with each other. You understand? So that's why I don't get mad when people of color don't support me or whatever. A lot of these people that are coming to my channel, new subscribers, a lot of them, they're spies for other, you know, vloggers and shit like that or whatever. But when you talk about Jaguar Wright, there was a lot of money to be made off of it. I saw one lady at one time, she was handing out $100 bills to whoever talked bad about her, you know? I saw they did the deep sweep of the jail Friday and found some stuff. Oh, really? I don't know. Pup ain't gonna have no problems. Well, okay. I don't know. Pup will be all right. I want a lot of this stuff not to be true. And I guess we'll have to wait for the proceedings to find out what is true, what isn't. But I will say this much. If you just pay attention to how much money there is to make with this Puff thing from literally strangers that have never been around the music industry, it would make you think a second thought about YouTube and how it's set up currently. You know, and that's why I said, yeah, I think I'm gonna make a hiatus from here. I'll still upload stuff here, whatever. But it's stupid at this point to go on another year with this YouTube shit where it's failing. You know, a lot of people are gonna be out of here. A lot of people are gonna stay here. You know, the ones that are gonna stay here, they're gonna be trapped here. You know, so I'm, you know, always been one to make the launch before I leave. I know there'll probably be like 6 people that there's gonna be about 6 people that I'll probably bring over with me to where I'm forming things up now, but no more than that. When you got 22,000 subscribers and nobody donates to you, it lets you know that it's a racial dynamic here, it's a gender dynamic here. There's also, and I say those two the biggest, racially and gender. They play a big point. If you are somebody that's like me and you're a vlogger and you talk about real life situations and you talk about, you know, somebody that actually was around when all this stuff was happening, and you got a more preference for a person that wasn't around, that lives in Milwaukee or California or Ohio, and their take on it, it lets you know this is the type of folks you're dealing with now. You're dealing with conspiracy theorists and, you know, people that ain't so intelligent, in my opinion. And so I don't let it bother me. I really don't. Like I say all the time, one of these days somebody gonna come in here and they're gonna drop $1,000, $5,000 on here, whatever. Be like, yo, man, go handle what you gotta handle. You know what I'm saying? Want to see you come up. But it ain't gonna be no dudes. You know who I think it'll be? I think it'll be somebody, because this is always the case with me. It will be somebody from a different culture, 9 times out of 10, and I guarantee it won't be anybody from African American culture. I can guarantee you that. They don't help each other. And that ultimately will be their demise. And by the time they figure it out, it'll probably be too late, you know? Let me put this hat on real quick. It's getting chilly out here, y'all. Yeah, that's why I stopped talking about it. I was like, I ain't really got nothing to, you know what I'm saying? There's some things I could give y'all, but I'm not doing that. For what? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you get on here, this is my thing, guys. If you get on here and you talk too much about things you don't know, it can come back to haunt your channel, because sooner or later, some people are going to get they're going to get a speculative tone. They're going to say, well, you know what? This guy said this, and then this week we come back and we find out this ain't the truth. And that happened, I think, about 2 weeks ago with something that vlogger, the female vlogger TT, she had put out there. And I was just like, wow, it's kind of nuts to me, you know, like, come to find out everything she was saying was based off a rumor and it was BS, you know? So you got to watch what you say on here. Ideally, I would tell you guys, if you're going to be involved in like the salacious type of material and that's what you're regurgitating on a day-to-day basis, be careful. Be careful. There are people watching. I tell y'all all the time, there's people watching like 3 or 4 vloggers right now. They don't even know about it. Shout out to TT. She said, yeah, and I'm going to get my legal consultants, and you better have them bitches in court with you. You better have them bitches in court with you. People want the mess like a soap opera. Not people, the urban crowd. If we just call it for what it is, the urban crowd. That's what they like. They like that shit. Even that term, the mess, was implemented by a black woman. Am I lying? So, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Granny Panties. That's what I call her, Granny Panties. Woman 60 years old on here talking about high school shit. I said, you supposed to be leading people. You on here talking about fucking Meg Thee Stallion. How you 60? When the last time you went to a concert, Granny Panties? I ain't gonna start on it. Granny Panties and her husband, Bullhead. Well, her Playboy bunny dresses. Yeah, I gotta say one thing though. I told her about her little Playboy bunny dresses. She probably got like 30 of them motherfuckers in there, right? her little Playboy buddy. Y'all know what I'm talking about. She got the little blue dresses on. She's got the little push-up bra and all that or whatever. I'm like, lady, you like 60 and married, got kids and everything else. Who said this was a good idea for you to, and it's not like she's like, can I be honest? It's not like she's fuckable. You understand what I'm saying? Like if you were 60 and you were fuckable, it'd be different. You're 60 and you're somebody's fucking wife. You get what I'm saying? And your husband is sitting right there next to you and he's encouraging you to wear the Playboy bunny dress on every episode. I just can't see it. So what she did was she got slick and she said, well, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put the zoom in on the camera now and I'm gonna film like this so everybody can see what the goods that my husband got. Don't nobody want that shit but you, homie. Oh, fuck. Every day this broad on the channel, I think she looked good. I'm like, you look like a mouse. You ever notice she looked like a mouse in the face? She kind of looks like a mouse. And this, I gotta say one more thing. You can tell all her life, she has wanted no more than anything to be held in the same accord or the same equation as a white woman. I can tell by the way she talks. That's one thing I find about a lot of these light-skinned female bloggers. They fit themselves into these black spaces and claim they're advocates for black people and all that stuff until, you understand what I'm saying? There's time to jump into the next platform. And that's what I find behind all of them. They do the same thing. They'll fit into this little area. And then what they'll do is they'll try to leapfrog into another area or whatever, when the time permits it. Well, with these particular light-skinned females, what I find is a lot of times they try to, like I was telling you about that one TT, she always tries to get on here and sound like she Chrissy Love or Foxy Brown or something. Oh, child, let me tell y'all what I got for y'all. And then it's like, it's blocked by this little like vernacular. Let me tell you about Diddy and Diddy and Diddy. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm confused. Then you got granny panties over there. They all have the same margin. They're all misandrous to some form or another. Only thing they do is they talk bad about black American men day after day after day. And so it puts you in a position as a black American man, I would think, that you would be like, oh, okay, because she's got, let's say she's got 10,000 followers that adamantly believe what she's saying, right? That's 10,000 women that automatically think you're guilty before you even proven innocent. You get what I'm saying? That's where it ends up to. And that's why I keep talking about this Diddy thing. It's a bad look for men of color to even be involved in it. It really is. You know what I'm saying? And so like, when I see all these vloggers and all of them making thousands of dollars, I'm talking about some of these guys that ain't never been in the music industry a day in their life, making thousands of dollars, just regurgitating gossip. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh man, nah, this ain't the space for me. Didn't one of them used to be male? I know your show. I don't know, man. I don't know. But she just looks like a mouse in the face. I don't know. She's not like, I just can't look at her and be like, okay, you was a bad chick back in the day. You know what I mean? Like, she looked like she was a height looking, you know what I'm saying? But like, mommy, you 60 something years old, like, and you're making money off YouTube, I get it, but like, diversify your topics. You're talking about Meg Thee Stallion and you're 60 fucking years old. That doesn't make sense to me, but this is the people that they accept in the urban community as far as blogging and who they like to give their likes, their shares, and their money to. So I just, I bring up the question. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. In this whole cartoon world of YouTube, because this shit is cartoonish at this point, I really don't give a shit. Like I said, because I don't. I really don't give a shit anymore. It's like, when I first, I'll tell you what I mean by that. When I first started vlogging, right, I found it very fun. You know what I mean? The people on here were of a different ilk. They were a lot cooler, especially people in the urban community. But one thing I couldn't forget was, during the time of the pandemic, I'll tell you about my own experience. During the time of the pandemic, like I said, I went through a hard little time or whatever. When I say a hard time, I mean a hard time. Like, shit was fucked up for me. And I remember at that time, right? I'm just looking for something in my jacket, y'all. I remember at that time, I used to have a lot of African-American women that were just on my page. They're like, won't you do this? Won't you do that? You need to do this. You need to do that. I'm like, bitch, do you know what's going on here in New York right now? We are under fucking treason here in New York. It is crazy here. And it was during the midst of in the middle of the pandemic. And so I never forgot how I was treated, how I was spoken to by a lot of women of color, how I was disrespected. I mean, heavily disrespected. And I never let it go. I really didn't. I never let it go. I was just like, damn, that's just how they treat their men. I mean, I had some black women come in here and say some horrible things to me. Oh, you this late? I was like, do you know what the fuck is going on here right now? You know? And so it was what it was. But I learned right then there early on, like, don't put your faith into, you know, the culture and all that shit. I don't. That's what's up, man. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Anyway, I'm gonna get up off here. I don't like I said, man, I don't sit too long. But guys, make sure y'all hit up the cash, support the channel. If you don't, I understand that too. My name's Davin Lewis. I'm out.